What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of AOS Trash Pandas. I'm your host, Rob, and I have with me, as usual, Captain Mustachio. How's it going, Captain Mustachio?
It's me. It's going pretty good.
Nice.
Going pretty good. Yeah. I'm excited for LVO tomorrow. I fly out in the afternoon this time. I'm not like eating into my sleeping hours as we speak like I was for WCW, so I'm pretty happy about that. And there is a rumbling in the meat dimension. But it's a half-eaten. Oh, my dog hates that. It's a half-eaten sandwich. Oh, there's something else. She hates that. She really hates it. It's a passport.
Oh!
So I can get into the United States of America. Woo!
Woo! Now
yeah.
you're going to forget it tomorrow. You know that, right?
Yeah, it's true. Like, fell behind my desk. Where'd it go?
Oh, man. I wonder why she hates this segment so much.
She hates when you do like any non-normal, like I think what she wants is for you to just be in the fetal position while we're not at the dog park, and that's it. It's like, and just stay still. Don't go like, if I go like this,
yeah,
and start wiggling my arms, she's gonna bark.
And we are talking.
She doesn't now because she's a jerk, but she knows.
And we are talking about your girlfriend, not.
Of course, not
okay,
my dog.
Okay, yeah, because your dog is cool with everything, right?
Yeah. It's like one of the chillest dogs I've ever met, honestly.
Yeah, I know, right? Like my dog. My dog does not Tokyo drift into people with his 110 pounds of weight and knock them over and step on their feet with his giant feet and act like a bull in a china shop at every opportunity.
Never.
No.
Never done that once.
Actually, something happened during, remember when like the day it snowed and it was crazy out? It was like minus 13 or whatever.
Yeah.
The dog got out, like Liam accidentally let him out. I don't know if he said her. And he just starts chugging up and down the sidewalk like an animal. And it's just like, I mean, he's done it before, but I'd like stick my leg out and he like hops over it awkwardly. And I'm like, I got you now, you bastard. But yeah. No shame either. Yeah. Welcome, Matthew. Thanks for joining us. So what are we talking about tonight, Carson?
Well, first of all, it seems like you kind of made a little bit of a mess on your screen, so you might want to clean that up.
I did. I'm sorry.
It's kind of embarrassing. You might have gotten excited.
I did. I was.
Pretty excited.
I was. I got my new sweater, and I couldn't help myself.
Oh my god, that looks nice.
Thanks. Yeah, you didn't have a chance.
I didn't even realize until now.
Yeah, I got it. I just got it yesterday. I got a frog shirt. I got a rat shirt. I got a hoodie because I can. It's kind of cold. And I got 3 stickers, and the frog sticker, the rat sticker are both perfect. They have like a white backing on them, and I was disappointed. And then I got the Kraken one, and it's totally clear. And I was like, that's what I wanted. And then I put it down, and now I like the white ones better because like when I put them all on my laptop, like the white backing, it stands out so much better. And the clear one, anyway, I took a picture of it. But then I didn't send it to anyone because I was just like, eh. But it needs to settle down. Like, how like the bubbles like eventually collapse or whatever and stuff. So it will look better. But yeah. So what do you think? I mean, you already made this joke in our group, but I don't want to.
As for the rumor engine this week, I think like the joke answer is obviously it's a new Slanesh warband.
Thank you.
I don't know. Insert innuendo name here. But my actual guess is that this is actually so like on the Eidolon, it's Cape.
Yeah.
That's like the super splashy liquid.
Yeah.
At the bottom where it's like frothy white essentially.
Yep.
It looks almost exactly like this. So that would be my guess is something new from Eidolon Deepkin.
Yep.
But yeah.
That's what it is, right? Like if it's not that, we absolutely riot. It's probably just a hero character, but my hope is that it is a Kraken. Like I've been asking for a Kraken since like almost day one. Like actually I was hoping there was going to be a Kraken. There's actually a short story with like a Zeech Beastman from like his perspective. But it has a Kraken in it. And I'm like, Agneth, like this means something. It never meant something. This is like 3 or 4 years ago the story came out, and yeah, it came and went, and so did this image, obviously, and so I mean, it's got to be that. Like, I've painted the capes, 2 Eidolon capes now at this point. I'm sure it's not a new Eidolon, but I don't think they're gonna have like a splash effect on a really small, on like a just like a 32 millimeter model. Like it's probably like a 40 millimeter model because, you know what I mean? Like, that just seems like the kind of thing we would get. But we've seen other stuff, right? We've seen like other cool stuff. So Kraken would be my favorite thing. I don't think it's going to be crab like cavalry like that we've all been kind of asking for since we saw Doonclaw from Underworld Warbands in AOS 2. But my other thing that I would love to see is Prince Lurien from the novel, which is called, I think it's called The Blind Prince or something like that. And it's really fun. I think it's David Geimer, who's like he's really one of the funner writers for Black Library. He always his novels are very like, I don't want to call like, when you say something like bolter porn, it sounds very derogatory, but the novels are very like, they're very fun. Like, you're not going to like cry or have like, you know, like this deep poignant moment in there, but you will enjoy the ride, assuming you enjoy whatever army it's about. And, you know, so if you like Idoneth actually have way more like short stories and stuff than the average army, you know, like I don't think there's a Sylvaneth novel, and there's a Deepkin novel, and there's like 4 or 5 short stories. It's really cool. So pretty lucky.
I feel like thematically, Idoneth is like just a really good temporary bad guy.
Yeah.
As far as like short stories and novels probably go as well, because like their whole lore is that you forget about them as soon as they're gone, essentially.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
that's
perfect
true.
for just kind of like coming in and not really being consequential. I'm sure they are in a lot of regards, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're I like them because they're that classic like gray, you know, like it's like they always talk about like how easy it is to tell a good Batman story because, you know, like he's sort of very, you know, he kind of lives more in the gray than like Superman, for example, who's like this Boy Scout, this shining example, and he's super powerful, right? So I think Deepkin are really interesting because, you know, like most people are like, yeah, they're the example of bad guys being in order, but they're not. Like if you kind of look in a little bit deeper into them, I actually don't think they're bad guys at all. It's like that classic, like, would you steal a loaf of bread to feed your starving family? Like if they don't take people's souls, then their children die. So it's kind of like, what would you do? And I don't know. I find them actually quite fascinating. And it's not just because I clearly love the ocean and all that kind of stuff, right? But yeah.
For your sake,
yeah.
I hope that you get a Kraken. I hope that this is a Kraken. But I'll be happy for you, but I will not envy you. Because I know that Kraken is going to be like the hardest model ever to paint. Because there's going to be like tentacles everywhere,
That's true.
Like little splashes of water. Like
That's true. I mean, it might be, hopefully, if it is crazy. Like, I've seen them before where they're like on the ground and going up, or they can also do it so it's floating, like because it's flying in the ether sea like everything else. You know, there's or it could be wrapped around like some kind of terrain piece. There's a few different things. There's also a like weird like nautilus or some kind of character. Like it's an animal, but it's like some kind of psychic nautilus in the third Gotrek novel that has Deepkin in it, and it's really good. Yeah, it's definitely like it, dude. Like I think this is the same CAD file Warpstone. Like I've painted a bunch of those. Like I painted like the cape twice. I've painted the cape basically, right? And it's this is the splash effect from the cape of the Eidolon. So I would be very surprised. I mean, it could just be some kind of other, like it could literally be an LRL model that has a splash effect on it as well. So we can't rule that out, but I think I can speak for the other Deepkin players that we would be very, very annoyed if it was like, you know what I mean? If they let us along like that.
Yeah. Hey guys, water elves are coming. Yay!
Yay!
More Lumineth.
Damn it! Yeah, because like, I mean, we're always getting screwed over by LRL, right? Whether it's their god, or so yeah, it's at least somewhat spherical. So probably an Ideneth hero staff or something. Yeah, like I'm thinking that's not like if it is Ideneth. Because I'm thinking it probably is something like a hero slamming their staff down, and then there's water kind of going out from out, from it or whatever. But what I really want is definitely a Kraken. So you can say release the Kraken and let's get Kraken and make all sorts of other puns, even though I'm not really into puns,
Or you could paint it like a big rubber duck. And then say, will we stuck Kraken?
That's true. I could do that. That's true. Yeah.
Yes.
Troll drool? Like, yep.
I lost the troll drool.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Could be some kind of magic aura or shadow cloak. That's true. We did see a preview. Dang it, I forgot to load it. So I will be doing I will be watching the preview show live on Thursday. So come join me and hang out if you guys are interested. Carson won't be joining me because he's a jerk and he's going to LVO, so we won't forgive him for that. But yeah, no, now that we've really milked this rumor engine, I mean, I'm really excited though, because like it's almost never happens where we even get an IDK model, and like it's very rare that we have any kind of knowledge that it might actually come in a preview thing. And now I want to have a discussion with GW, actually. GW, okay, you have the right. You have the right to put triangle shields in preview images, okay? But I will speak on behalf of the Skaven community when I will say it's not very nice and you shouldn't do it, okay? Because yes, there's a gear on there. Yes, there's a wrench on there. But have you ever heard of a thing called Scryer, GW? Yes, it says Necromunda literally on the image, okay? But some of us get a little bit excited when we just see a triangle shield, okay? Exactly. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Thank you, Warpstone. Exactly. Okay. I'll get off my high horse now.
I'm just gonna let you have this one. I'm not gonna add anything else.
Thank you, Carson, for understanding and agreeing with me completely. That's what I heard. And so, yeah, so we got this new model, Carson. Quite mixed reviews on this thing.
I'm still waiting for the stream to. Oh, there we go. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's new?
Kinda. I think they said it's actually Jason said it perfectly. He said this it's apparently in the article it says like, can you believe, or something like, can you believe that this model is from 2008 or something like that? And then Jason put, yep, yikes. And then I saw so many, yeah, that dude's head, right, Matthew? Like, what up, Sean? Thanks for joining us. Someone said something about how, like, his eyes are so close together and that his nose is so narrow, he probably has zero peripheral vision whatsoever. But then originally I was thinking, like the first image I saw, it looked like he was like one of those like clownfish or whatever, where like his eyes are literally on the other side of his head. So it's the opposite of that. He has no binocular vision, perhaps. But anyway, I don't know.
I think actually this is a very accurate depiction of what it would be, because they are clearly severely inbred.
That's true. Yep.
I think it's great. I'm all for it.
It's authentically, accurate right down to the sausage fingers. Why such a long face? Yes. Yeah, I mean...
The little thing in the back, the kid, I guess? It looks like Frodo Baggins actively having a stroke. Like, it's...
It looks like Elijah Wood's face as he hits the puddle when he falls into the lake of the dead or whatever.
Where he just stares down the camera lens and like creams his khakis. Yeah, it's not great.
My God, I thought models were better in 08. Yeah, I mean, well, and to be fair too, like I don't remember when 7th edition was. I didn't play during 7th edition Warhammer Fantasy Battles, but like you have models that came out for 7th edition, whatever that was, right? The Lizardman release. And one of those is this guy right here, this Carnosaur, and oh jeez, I almost dropped Gorgio on the floor. I'm sorry, Gorgio. And like this Scar veteran who like he totally holds up to today's sculpts, right? And then I think at the same time, I'm pretty sure we got the previous Saurus Cavalry, right? Which are so derpy looking, like they're just meme-tastic, just ridiculous, right? So I don't know. Mistakes are made. Sometimes people, not everyone's good at their job. Like that's a thing. You know what I mean? Like, you ever been to McDonald's? Like sometimes people are there and they are like professional and like they're going for it, right? And then there's the people we've all met, right? Like it doesn't matter what your job is. Like even if you're a doctor or a lawyer, there are terrible lawyers out there. There are bad doctors that like get sued for malpractice, right? Not everyone's great at their job, okay? Also, this model, it's not my favorite. On an unrelated note.
That's unrelated.
Yeah,
Completely unrelated.
Completely unrelated. I mean, whatever. I don't know. I like the cape. Yeah. I like the clothes. I like the idea of the glove. He's holding a glove. That's cool. I like the helmet on... Yeah, the person's holding.
Yep.
Moving right along.
To me, it looks like inbred Swedish Boromir with his sidekick Frodo Baggins currently having a stroke. So that's all I have to say about that.
God dang, it just kept hitting all the way down, right? Oh, jeez. Right. Okay, it was
next topic.
Warpstone says it was probably meant to be a limited release. Yeah, and they didn't spend a great deal of time sculpting it. That's true. But Warpstone? Have you seen the Games Day Skaven Warlord? It's like the last pewter model they ever made. Oh man, that thing rocks. It's the best one, in my opinion. Anyway, moving right along. So then we got some stats out for the Las Vegas Open. Thanks, by the way, for posting it on the Saga of Dice Discord. If you want to join the Discord, it's totally free. There's a link in the description. You don't need to be a member or a patron. Do you get a chance to look at these stats, Carson?
I did. Yeah. There's like the top 20 players. There's the win rates per faction, and then there's like most represented god models, I think, which is another one. So, yeah,
I've got them all.
Cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I do think it's interesting that the person with the highest win rate is playing Big Wah. Like that's actually kind of impressive. And that's the second highest win rate is the person playing Stormcast Eternals. Like that's crazy. But it really, the thing I like about this is that though there are like some top tier armies out there, like Daughters, Caradron, the New Cities obviously is very good. Like, I mean, a lot of them are on here are probably what people would describe as pretty good. I do like that, like the second highest win rate one is like a faction that most people consider to be not strong at all. And it really just goes to show that it's about the player, not the army, right?
Yeah, Absolutely. Yeah,
And
it's
then,
interesting to see. I will say though that it's not. We're not sure if that's the army that they used at all of those events. So if you see the little number that's in parentheses next to their name,
oh,
that's the amount of events that this data represents.
right.
And
Huh.
I
I
would
mean,
be surprised if, let's say, someone like Anthony Trentinelli took Skaven to all 46 tournaments that this is represented by.
that's a really
So
great point.
that's one thing to keep in mind when you look at this particular
Yeah.
stat. I almost kind of wish you didn't put the army next to their name, just
Yeah.
because that's probably what they're just most recently playing or what they're playing at LVO.
Yeah,
Probably.
I didn't actually have a chance to go over these different stats. I had a busy day and such. But yet we know for a fact that Matt Beasley did not play Disciples of Zeech at every tournament.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean,
In fact,
he usually
the
plays
two times,
Zeech, right?
two of the times that out of three that I played him at tournaments, he was playing not Disciples of Zeech.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's definitely the case. And oh, and by the way, do you want to tell the people why you're not on this list, Carson?
Sorry, should I be on this list?
You should be on this list. You're clearly you were like the number 4 player in the world according to the
Warhammer.
yeah.
I think it was number 2 for.
You were number 2 for Warhammer, but you were number 4 like according to GW.
No, that was Honest Wargamer stats.
Oh, there you go. My
Yeah.
bad. Okay.
And then I think I'm like 13th ITC right now. But
Okay.
so the reason why I'm not on this list is because the last 2 tournaments that I went to were Pacific Northwest Masters and the World Championships of Warhammer.
Yep.
Both of which are like immensely competitive events. And my win rate for both of those kind of dipped my win rate slightly below 80% at like 78.5, I think now.
Yep.
If we didn't count just Pacific Northwest Masters, which I did particularly poorly in because I didn't bring 2 lists to it, I'd be at somewhere like 83.5%, which would put me on this list. But because so one thing to keep in mind is that these players, I believe, if I'm not incorrect, this is the amount of events that they've played throughout the entirety of 3rd edition.
Right.
So if a player who has, say, like 50 events does particularly poorly at one event, that's kind of just a statistical anomaly and it doesn't really matter very much.
That's
but
true.
This is actually my first year doing tournaments. So one bad event like really, really affects my percentage quite a bit.
That's true.
So,
and if you look at like Derek Perham or whatever, his Seraphon with only 6 events played, and Jay McKenzie with Seraphon at only 7, like that, you're basically saying that means more. That, and we're not crapping on Trentinelli here, who's playing 46 events. We're just saying that like being that like that win rate is, more indicative of how they're doing in the last like year or 2 or whatever, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for all we know, they've gone to like 2 events per year in 3rd.
That's true. And maybe they have like a weak local meta too. Like,
never know. Or, I mean, I'm sure they're a great player.
Obviously Trentinelli is one of the best players in the world. So, yeah.
You always have to, take things with a grain of salt. Also, John Castle says, how do 2 list tourneys work? So Pacific Northwest Masters was 2 lists in that you bring 2 lists to the tournament, and they have to be the same faction. They can be different sub-factions, though. And what happens is when you rock up to a game and you see who you're playing and you see what your opponent's faction is, you secretly pick one of the 2 lists, and then you both reveal your lists at the same time. The only caveat is that you have to play both lists at least once during the entire tournament. What I did, because I was a dum-dum and I didn't respect the format, I basically brought 2 of the same list. And what that basically ended up doing was, people who were smarter than me going into that tournament brought 2 lists that were like, okay, here's my skew list that's like anti-melee. Here's my more skew list that's like anti-shooting or anti-this or whatever. And that just made it much more difficult for me to actually do well in that tournament. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
it's I'm not sure that I'm a huge fan of the 2 list system, especially if you have to play both lists, because like I just feel like the rich get richer and etc. But but yeah, next time now You'll have to paint more stuff though, Carson. Like you'd have to, you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna bring underguts or something like that, you're gonna have to paint some stuff, man.
Yep.
But
Yep.
anyway, it's just kind of interesting to look at the different things. You notice that Catacross is the most taken god model by far, and then Scarbrand. But I don't know. I don't think this tells us that much, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. My only wish is that at Kippers I play no less than 4 Bellicors. I'd like to keep it at 2 or less.
2 or less, please.
For LVO.
That's assuming you're only playing 6 games, too, or 5 games. 5 games, yeah. If you play more than that, then you'll be generous and bump it up to 3, right? No.
Sure.
Okay. Fair enough, Carson. And then we've got army list point breakdown here. This is quite interesting because of triumphs, essentially. And if you're wondering why it goes like this, it's because some armies still have 5-point increments and other armies don't. If everyone had 5-point increments still, you'd see a much more steady incline. But yeah, there's just very specific armies that still have it. It's really weird, and I don't know why they do that. But yeah, and then
this definitely makes me feel good about.
Oh, sorry. No, please.
Definitely makes me feel good about my choice. Dropping down 20 points and putting Gorgers in, because sitting at 1980 basically makes it so that way more than half of the submitted lists I'll be getting a triumph against, which is pretty nice.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's why it matters. Yeah. And then we've got Common War Scrolls, which is fun. Wurgog appears in 100% of Big Wall lists for obvious reasons. Not only is he good, he's fun. Yeah, that's Warpstone. Actually, I forgot to, or not forget, but like, he's commenting on the same thing that Alex and a bunch of us who play KB noticed. Like he's saying like, Bolt Boys only appear in 91% of the KBZ list, the Cruel Boys list, which is crazy because it's like they're obviously their best scroll, I think, by most people's standards, and somehow there are lists without it. Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe it's like they're leaning into Kragnos, and there's like
it's not.
What is it?
I've seen the list.
What is it?
It's like 2 blocks of 20 gut rippers, a whole bunch of splitters. Like it's just tons of bodies on the table, basically.
Wow,
it's kind of neat.
Maybe
we'll chance spot. I forgot the guy's name, unfortunately, but maybe we'll chance spot it. So
that would be fun. Give him a tip of the hat from us. But yeah, the Leviathan, I thought this was actually quite interesting. Appears in 75% of INIS lists. Like, it did go down in points, but that's I thought that was really interesting. And then, the sharks aren't on here. Oh, there it is. Wait, no. Oh, sharks only appear in 56% of INIS lists. That's really interesting because like it's kind of the thing that everyone was talking about for a while, and
yeah.
But
I think that running a whole bunch of Namarti Thralls, it's got a lot of teeth. Like it's pretty scary because they can shred pretty much whatever they come in contact with, and they're surprisingly tanky. So I'm not surprised that we're not seeing like 100% Fuethan.
You know what has more teeth though than Namarti is sharks. Like they actually have more teeth.
That's true.
So
yeah. Well, number of teeth or like amount, volume of teeth?
Number.
Well, the thralls probably do because there's more thralls than there are sharks.
Well,
got you there.
Did you though?
Diagonally. Checkmate.
I don't know how many teeth are in the average shark. I should have looked that up. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, you're probably right. But shark teeth are cooler. Anyway, so that's that. And so now we move on to the main thing. Now, I think you said you wanted to talk about some specific lists. Is that correct?
Yeah. So basically, what I'm doing is so for this show, we've got all of the lists, or I took a snapshot of all of the people who had their lists submitted last night.
Yep.
And then I went through and I picked kind of like 10 people that you really want to look out for at this tournament. And there's plenty more people that you probably want to look out for, but these are kind of the 10 people that I know of that come to mind. And one other caveat is that I've excluded anyone in my team, excluding myself, just for bias reasons. I haven't included myself or Matthias or Dale or Eric or anything like that who are coming.
Yep.
So yeah, we can just go straight to that if you want to.
Let's do it. So who's up first? What up, Unaided? Thanks for joining us. I love the emotes, man.
So I'm going to do these in completely random order. This isn't like a top 10.
Okay.
It's just 10 people.
Okay.
Number 1, let's go and look for Noah, or it's going to be like Juwan Noah Singh.
Noah. Oh, there it is. Juwan Noah Singh. Found it. View list.
Yep.
And
so Noah is going to be playing.
Real quick, Joker says, I am just here for the 5 glutos player. Hell yeah, let's go. Let's get that big boy going.
Let us know that person's name and we'll take a look at it. That sounds insane.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you know their name, Joker, let us know. Sorry.
I'll try and keep this relatively fast because obviously we're not going to get through all of the lists. That would be literally impossible.
Yes.
But we'll try and get through as many as we can.
No one wants
so
that.
Noah is bringing Cities of Sigmar, which the first thing you would probably think of is, oh, he's going to bring a block of 30 Fusiliers. He's going to shoot me off the table immediately with an Alchemite Warforger, like giving him that spell.
Yep.
There is neither Fusiliers nor an Alchemite Warforger in this list. Instead, what you have is 3 sorceresses, and you have 2 blocks of 30 Blackguard, 10 Dread Spears, Galen Van Dinst, Blackheart Fleetmaster, a group of 3 Scourge Runner Chariots, and 2 groups of 5 Drakespawn Knights, and then Doralia Van Dinst, which comes with Galen. What makes this list kind of scary is, so there's a combo between the Sorceress and the Blackguard, where if the Blackguard is within 3 inches of a Sorceress, they get a 4-up ward, and if a Sorceress is within 3 inches of Blackguard, she gets a 4-up ward. So basically you have this massive block of wounds going down the table that are just like sitting on a 4-up ward. I think they're only 4-up save, but it's still like your damage is being halved, which is pretty crazy.
That's wild.
And then other problems with this list are Blackguard are on 25mm bases. So what happens is if you space them out perfectly, you can actually have one group of Blackguard behind the other, and then they can charge from behind the front unit, so they can effectively like screen up front and then charge through something, because they're on 25mm bases, as I said. And then lastly, the combo that makes them particularly scary is that 2 of the sorceresses have Tenebrial Blades, and what that does is it basically like picks one elf unit, i.e. a Blackguard, and makes it so that whatever they attack has a save characteristic of just dash. It's not even 6-up, it's just dash. So even if you're like save stacking like crazy, you know, if you have a 3-up save base, it's treated as just dash. So sorry.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you've got the Scourge Runner Chariots, which are going to be super fast, wanting to shoot you from afar. The Black Arc Fleetmaster is going to be giving them +1 attack to their shots whenever he issues that all-out attack, in addition to +1 to hit. So they're going to be dealing a whole bunch of damage. They deal 3 flat damage to monsters, which is particularly scary. And then those Drakespawn Knights are just going to be super fast anvils, just getting around the table, capping objectives. It's a pretty scary list.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, man. I did not remember about the 4-up ward. I remembered about most of the other stuff from the show we did about this. Yeah, that's terrifying, actually.
Yep. And there is a blizzard, because Shaman of the Chilled Lands is a thing. So there's 2 sources of Hoarfrost, 1 source of blizzard, and this is going to be, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Hallowheart is the 3d6 cast one.
Yeah. Is that right? I think that's right. Yes, it
Maybe
is.
not.
Yeah, no, it is.
Okay.
Because I just played Eric.
So they're 3d6 casting, probably going to be getting these spells off. And there's an Andorian Acolytes battalion, so I'm pretty sure this is a 4-drop, 2 battle regiments, and Andorian Acolytes with 2 of the sorcerers, isn't it? So they're going to be getting more primals than you, casting on 3d6 base, and these spells are like terrifying, all of them. So like if you get anywhere near them, make sure you kill that general. Otherwise, you're going to get nuked off the table with a blizzard, probably.
Right.
And yeah, it's going to be, it's scary.
So
that was number 1.
Okay.
On to the next one.
Yep.
We can do, just going to do Jeremy Vessier, who's playing Caradron Overlords. That's going to be another person you want to look out for.
There he is. He's not checked. He's not checked in apparently.
How dare he?
I know.
What a jerk. So he is going to be running. This is pretty standard KO, where it's got 2 groups of 10 Thunderers. He's got 2 frigates. He's got a gun hauler. He's got a navigator, a chemist, an admiral. This isn't anything particularly surprising. Really what makes me say that you should look out for this person is just that Jeremy has done extremely well in past events. And I'm pretty sure he won LVO, or maybe was the ITC winner in one recent year. So definitely going to be a very good player. KO is a scary army in a good player's hands. So
yeah,
I would definitely look out for that. Next up, let's do Matt Beasley.
Ew, just kidding. Love you, Matt.
Matt Beasley of Dimensional Cascade.
Yep.
Got it up?
He did our Zeet show. Yeah, it's up now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did the Zeet show if you want to go check that out. Don't, because you should be watching this. So he's going to be playing Zeech again. He's playing Guild of Summoners, which basically means that the only thing he can summon onto the table is going to be those Lords of Change.
Yep.
The first time he summons a Lord of Change is going to be at
9.
Like 9.
Yeah.
And usually the cadence is he summons 1 first turn, he summons 1 third turn, he summons 1 fifth turn. Obviously you can disrupt that, or he could roll extremely well and do better.
And it's 9, 18, 27 points respectively, when it's normally 30 per Lord of Change. It's quite strong because it leads into one of the best battle tactics they have, and it's very easy to get. Like I was typically getting like 13 points of summoning per turn. So yeah.
One thing to keep in mind is that there's only 3 wizards that are in this list currently that are going to be capable of actually summoning a chicken. By chicken I mean Lord of Change, and that's going to be the Magister and the 2 Zangor Shamans.
Yeah, because demons can't summon; it has to be a mortal. Yeah,
exactly. So then he's got 2 groups of 10 or 2 groups of 10 horrors of Zeech, which doesn't seem that bad, but there's effectively 50 wounds in that unit.
Yep, there is 50 wounds in that unit.
Just because what happens is the horrors of Zeech, the pink horrors will split into 2 blues, and then each blue gets replaced by a brimstone when it dies. So it goes from 1, splits into 2, and then each of those split into 1 after that. So 1 is equal to 5, essentially. So they're just going to be a really, really good screening unit. If those horrors are within 12 inches of the Gaunt Summoner of Zeech or the Lord of Change, they're going to be -1 to hit.
Any demon hero.
Yeah, any demon hero, they're going to be -1 to hit. So he's going to be screening extremely well. He's got the Demonic Simulacrum, which is just an endless spell that he's going to throw for free and do a bunch of damage to you. And then the scary thing is that he's got 2 groups of 6 Ogrite Therodons, all with the Goron Great Axes, and those are basically Iron Guts.
Yeah.
That can't fight twice, but they're still 3 attacks each, 3s, -2, 3 damage. Those are going to be slappy for sure. And he has a way to give them a 5-up ward, which is also pretty scary.
Through the spell.
So really the way that you want to be shutting down this list is getting rid of those mortal heroes, because if you do, then they can't summon any more chickens. But he's put Merciless Blizzard on both of the Zangor Shamans to basically be like, hey, if you come after me and you fail, you're going to be punished for it.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to blow you off the table.
Yeah, exactly.
So
this is so cool, by the way. Like, I never thought about putting them in there. Like, I knew that they got the Zeech keyword, and I love Therodon. So I don't know why I didn't think of this, but my hat is definitely off to Matt. I hope my main fear about, because I would be totally happy to buy some Therodons right? And paint them up and put them in a Zeech list. But then my worry is that in the next book you won't be able to use them, and I'll just be like, what do I do with these now, right? But
Yeah, and that's 4 boxes of Therodons right there.
yeah,
so.
exactly. For I'm like a Zeech casual at best, right? But yeah, no, I really like it. The Demon Spark, by the way, gives him extra points, and then the 9-Eyed Tome is a free reroll on a cast or unbind in each hero phase. So you can only put it on a demon hero though. So, but yeah, the Gaunt Summoner is still so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think just to kind of like wrap up this list, Tzeentch is obviously particularly struggled into Null Myriad OBR and Blades of Corn, just because Blades of Corn has that 5-up spell ignore, as well as when they do that spell ignore, they get a Blood Tithe, which is you're just actively feeding them.
You make them stronger, yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty clear that these 2 groups of 6 Therodons are there to just basically be like, you're going to ignore my spells, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. So how about that? 600 points of your army dedicated to that is pretty good. And it's not like those Therodons are going to be bad against other matchups too. Like they're very good units. So
you know what's interesting too, though, like that I never clued in on before. I didn't realize the Jade Obelisk Warcry Warband was Battleline in Tzeentch. Like
I didn't either.
Yeah,
cool.
And they have an ethereal save too, which is kind of interesting. But,
yeah,
cool.
Yep. Okay. Next up, let's do Tom Guan, the one that's going to surprise nobody. So he's going to be under Thomas.
Okay. Donkey.
Thomas Guan. And he's coming back with his Soulblight Gravelords.
Cool. I'm glad to see he didn't abandon them.
Yeah. So for a while he was running his OBR Null Myriad like 2 groups of 4 Morghast list. He brought that to WCW. Did pretty well. I think he placed like 1 above me in the champs bracket.
Nice.
And now he's back to his Soulblight Gravelords. He's running Virkos. It's 160 zombies. It's 160 zombies that are just going to be on the table.
My God.
Or is it 160?
It might be more.
40, 80, 100.
60.
160. Yep.
Yeah, okay, 60 and then 10 direwolves.
Yeah.
And a corpse.
2 corpse cards. And then the 3 heroes that he's got is just a regular Vampire Lord with Hoarfrost.
Yep.
He's got Torgilius the Chamberlain with Fading Vigor, and Gorslav the Gravekeeper, which is his general that has Spore Tracker, and Ulfenkarni Phylactery. Basically, this list is entirely about what are you going to do about this many bodies at the center of the table.
Yeah. Bottles too. They're carrying bottles, and they also have bodies.
Yeah. So there's nothing particularly super complicated about this list. Like, it's a DPS check. Certainly, if you can get at the heroes and kill them, that's going to be really helpful for you, because they're going to be helping a lot with like scoring objectives and not scoring objectives, scoring secondaries, battle tactics, and just generally like being really the only thing that's dangerous to you. The other thing that's going to be particularly dangerous is that when you do decide to kill the Deadwalker zombies, they just, on a 5-up, every one of them that dies within 3 inches of you in melee, I think.
Yep.
They just do a mortal wound back to you. So unless you have a really good ward save against mortal wounds, like if you send Varangard into them, that's pretty good.
Yep.
But they're just going to be like dealing 1/3 of the damage that you deal to them back, which is pretty rough.
It's pretty cool, man. And then Torgilius has a 5-up ward bubble, so you got to chew through that. And I think the Ulfenkarni Phylactery is the same thing. And the reason you can put that on a named character is because that's what Virkos do. But yeah, no, it's a really cool list, and I really like it actually.
Yeah, and just keep in mind that those 160 zombies effectively become 240 zombies when they come back from the grave, because each one of them can come back in half strength.
Right.
And I think it's either Torgilius or Gorslav can just bring a unit of zombies back without having to go through the whole 4-up.
It's Gorslav, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that'll make it just a little bit more reliable on his end. So again, if you can try and kill him, you should.
Absolutely. Oh, and it is so the Alfenkarn phylactery is add 1 to ward rolls for friendly Virko summonable units for the purposes of the Deathless Minions battle trait while they are wholly within 9 inches. So it's a little. I thought it was 12 for some reason, but
it's a little tight. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little tight on that many bodies, but it can. I mean, they're all summonable, so you can do it on like a layer of 20 zombies or like the dire wolves, and it's just it's pretty good. Okay,
pretty good. And I think one thing to keep in mind, I guess, if you want like a tip against this list, I'm pretty sure when the Deadwalker zombies die and they do their whole like 5 up mortal wound back to you, it's zombies that are within 3 inches of an enemy unit.
Right.
They have to do it. So basically, if you manage to tag the very end of a zombie, he's going to probably be balling them up as much as possible.
Yeah.
But if you can tag just the very edge, just to get as little as possible in that 3-inch bubble, with a unit that can absolutely just wipe that zombies unit in one sweep, it's going to be doing a lot less damage back to you than the entire unit.
And another thing to point out is that because if the zombies are within range of the corpse cart, and he's got 2 of them in this list, they are doing their old 6 up to hit does mortal wounds, and that's like their main source of damage. So if you have a shooting list at all, if you have anything that shoots, you can just shoot the corpse cart because they're just kind of dead in the water back there.
Yeah, the biggest thing that's going to kill you is that if those corpse carts are alive and the zombies wrap you with pylon, because they don't even really need to kill you. It's just the damage that they're going to do back is going to kill yourself, which is pretty bad. I
mean, and like, but if they can wrap you, they're 25 mil bases, and there's that many attacks with 6s to hit doing mortal wounds. I think it's in addition now because I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
I'm going to check. I'm curious. Corpse cart. And it's the Unholy Lodestone that does it, right?
I think the Unholy Lodestone is like +1 to casting or something like that. I think it's just something that they give to... Is it not on there?
It's if the unmodified wound roll for an attack made by a friendly Deathwalker zombies unit is 6, and it causes 1 mortal wound to the in addition.
In addition, okay.
And then each zombie has how many attacks? Each zombie is going to have 2 attacks.
2 attacks, yeah.
So.
And they're hitting on 5 still, I think.
Yeah.
So it's not that great. I mean, you can give them, if you have something nearby, you can give them all out attacks they're hitting on 4s. So, yeah.
It's going to be a couple, probably if you have like a big group of zombies hitting, it's not insignificant.
Well, yeah, right? 20 zombies, then that's effectively, if they get in range, then that's 20 hits, essentially, with all out attack. And then, so wounding on... It's
going to be like 3 mortal wounds.
6. Yeah. 3 to 4 on average. Yeah, it's fair. And then you die to killing them.
John asks, is it also only due to melee damage or is it any damage? I think he's referring to the zombies dealing damage back to you.
Right.
So it's at the end of the combat phase. You can roll a dice for each enemy model that... Never mind, sorry, wrong rule. Each time a model in his unit is slain by an attack made with a melee weapon, if that model is within 3 inches of the attacking unit, roll a dice. Out of 5+, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So it is specific to melee, and again, it has to be within 3 inches of specifically the attacking unit. So even if you have like stuff at the other side of the zombies, preventing them from like piling in either direction, that's going to be one way that kind of hurts them quite a bit. So,
But to be honest, so far, this is, even having said all of that, it's still my favorite list. I actually just think it's really cool and, I don't know, fun to me. But I don't have to play it, so screw you guys.
Yeah, you don't have to play against it.
Who's next?
Next up, let's go for Fabian Barbus, the Blades of Corn guy.
Oops,
He's the one that's giving Matthias a run for his money.
There it is. I accidentally hit a V. Fabian. Corn. Reapers.
He is going to be in Reapers of Vengeance, which is...
The Bloodletter one?
I always mix it up if it's the Bloodletter one or if
I
it's the one that makes it so that heroes are 2 blood tithe instead of 1.
I think
Let me-
it's the Bloodletter one,
I thought Bloodlords was the Bloodletter one.
but it's Blood Lords.
This one's Reapers of Vengeance.
No, I know, but you're like it's kind of in the name, right? Blood Lords.
I know. I'm saying that this one is not the Bloodletter one.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Actually, I don't think we are, because like Blood Lords, like they get blood tithe if they are lords, if they are heroes.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, you're wrong.
Oh, okay. that
I just looked
explains
it up.
that explains why you always think it's this. That it's the way, like you always think it's the opposite, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's confusing. Reapers of Vengeance is add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Reapers of Vengeance demon units that target an enemy hero. In addition, each time an enemy hero is slain, you receive 1 additional blood tithe point. So the Bloodletters are demons.
And
the Bloodmaster is a demon. There's 2 Bloodmasters. There's a Scarbrand and there's a Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury. Like all of that's going to be +1 to hit against heroes.
But
So
but what's the name of the Bloodletter one? Is it Bloodlords?
Bloodlords?
Is it actually Bloodlords?
yeah,
No wonder you always get it mixed up. That's so dumb. Who named this? Sorry to whoever named it. I'm not really sorry. I don't know why I said I was sorry. Keep going. Sorry.
Fabian is currently the #1 Blades of Corn player.
Ooh.
Just ahead of Matthias. He's doing very well. This is a pretty scary list. He's got, so just going down, you've got the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, which is like, it's just a really good utility piece. And it's a bit of a hammer too.
Yep.
So it's going to be doing, it's going to be shutting off wards to anything that's within 3 inches.
Cool.
It's going to be issuing a 3d6 charge in the charge phase, which is pretty spicy.
What's the thing that shuts off wards about it?
I think it's Argath, King of Blades.
Okay.
The artifact. I'm pretty sure.
I didn't remember that being part of any of Andy's list.
Maybe,
which is my
maybe
name.
Firebrand. I can't remember. One of those 2. It's got Bloodblind and Killer Instinct, which are the push and pull spells.
Killer Instinct.
Or maybe Bloodblind isn't. Killer Instinct is. He's got a Bloodmaster, Herald of Corn, which is just a Bloodletter hero. It's going to be giving first strike to Bloodletters within an inch of it. Or sorry, it's going to get first strike and then it's going to chain activate with Bloodletters. So he's got 2 of those. Also Killer Instinct. 1 has Blood Sacrifice, which I believe is going to give him a Blood Tithe. Scar Blood Wrath, I'm actually not sure what that is. Let me take a look real quick.
Which one?
Or maybe it doesn't really matter. Scar Blood Wrath.
I'm not even. Oh.
Just kind of snuck in there.
Right.
Scar
Is
Blood Wrath.
that from the what do you call it? The warband thingy? Maybe not.
Not sure.
I think that's like from the warband.
Says at the end of the movement phase, if this unit has been destroyed, roll 2d6 on an 8. Plus, you can set it up anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from all enemy units with no wounds allocated to it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um.
And then if it's included within a Blades of Corn army, you can make 1 additional murder roll each time a model from a friendly Wrathmonger's unit within 8 inches of this unit is slain.
Scar Bloodwrath is I love this model and I kind of hate this model. It's the guy with the 2 axes and he's got like flails dangling off his axes.
Gotcha.
It's the most like insanely over designed model ever, but it's awesome.
Yeah. But then he's got a Claws of Karnak. He's got Magor's Fiends, Godsworn Hunt, 10 Blood Reavers, and 20 Bloodletters. Really, this is just going to be... There's going to be a decent amount of control with this, as Khorne usually has, but there are more hammers than normal in this list, I would say.
For sure. And he's got 2 endless spells, which I don't even remember seeing these before.
Invocations.
Or, sorry, yeah, you know what I mean.
Those are the Hex Scourger Skulls are basically like anti-magic stuff, and then the Wrath Axe is just damage.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what they look like.
The Hex Scourger Skulls have like blood pouring out of their eyes.
Oh, that one. Yeah, right. Okay.
And the Wrath Axe is an axe that is wrath-like.
Yes. Love it. Okay.
Yeah, he's Fabian's going to be someone that you want to look out for sure.
For
so
sure.
2 Warlord battalions, so he's not going to be deciding who's going first by any means, but yeah.
Maybe if
That's that.
Matthias just stuck with an army next time, it didn't, you know.
Exactly. Well, I mean, he's been playing corn
He
100% of the
played
time.
OBR too. He played Nurgle. Yeah,
Fine.
dirty
Fine.
Nurgle. He cheated with Nurgle on his main squeeze.
So we've got 5 more.
Okay.
Let's go and look at a destruction one now. Let's go and look at Aaron Newbaum.
Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron Newbaum.
There it is.
He's going to be playing Big Wa.
Cool.
Army type, Big Wa. Grand strategy, Wa. So Wa is basically just like your general or battle line wholly in your enemy territory. It's the better version of Ready for Plunder, so I'm jealous.
Right.
He's going to be running a Wargog Prophet, which, as we've seen in all Big Wa lists, have them.
Yep.
You gotta have it.
Glowing tattoos is the artifact. Like you literally
Yep.
just take it every time.
Yeah, so Wargog is just going to be like staring you down. How it works is at the start of their hero phase, it's going to pick a unit within 12
it's
inches.
the shooting phase.
Nope, start of hero phase.
Really?
Yeah.
That's better.
If it was the shooting phase, it would be terrifying because then he
Yes.
could just move into
You
range
can
and
move
do
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
As the
it's a little
start of
more
the hero
interactive.
phase too, so you can't even
Can't
teleport him in. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yep.
Okay.
And the glowing tattoos gives him a 4-up ward, and basically what the stare does is I think it's on a 3-up. It's D3 mortals to you, and then
Yeah.
on a 1 or a 2, it's D6 mortals to himself.
I thought it was the opposite of that. I thought it was D6 to
War clans.
You know what's funny is like everyone but Andy uses this character, and like Hillary does insanely well with it. He just fries people down to dust with the stare, and Andy like he always kills his own model, like in every game we've ever played. So
Yeah.
that's why I don't really need to know the rules for this guy. You know.
Yeah, it's on a 3-up. The enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Oh,
But on a
okay.
1 to 2, this unit suffers D6 mortal wounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But again, this has a 4-up ward. It's on 7 wounds.
Yeah.
And a 3-up is like, you can keep rolling 3-ups. Let me tell you. Like I've
Yes.
seen entire units of gluttons basically be deleted by this. Like it can be pretty terrifying. Or sometimes it's like, he does his initial D3 mortal wounds and then he just does D6 and just immediately kills himself, essentially.
I don't think Hillary isn't able to go, so you don't need to worry about someone who's literally able to roll 3-ups indefinitely like Hillary is. So, you stand a chance no matter what, frankly. But it's kind of like the Blizzard effect, really. You know what I mean? It's like you charge in there and then okay, you might have everything die in that unit. Like, like it could have 80 wounds and it could just all just get melted.
Yeah, it's a really good deterrent for
Yeah.
sure. Like it's kind of like if you're going to charge in within 12 inches of that thing, you better make sure it dies too, or you have like such an overwhelming amount of damage that's going in and destroying the rest of the army that it doesn't matter if you lose one unit.
And it's not like it's like a lot of spells where it's like you get a 1 or a 2 and you take D6 mortal wounds and it ends. He can just keep going. He can take D6 mortal wounds like 3 times in a row, and if the model's not dead, he gets to just keep going. It's so cool.
Yep.
It's so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean says the Care Bear stare is real and it can hurt you. Yep.
It definitely can.
It definitely can. And you will
then
not
he's got
forget.
He's got an Orc Weird Knob Shaman, which knows Shaman of the Chilled Lands. It's general. It's got the great big green hand of Gork, and that's just a teleportation spell.
It is.
So Shaman of the Chilled Lands again gives him access to Hoarfrost, Rupture, and Blizzard. So that's a source of Blizzard. So not only does he have the Wargog Prophet as like a threat projection of 12 inches, he also has this Blizzard as well.
Yep.
He has an Ard Boy Big Boss, which is kind of surprising. Haven't seen this very often. And to be honest, I kind of forgot what it does. I know it buffs Ard Boys, of course.
It literally, that's what it does. Yeah. It gives them... Or actually, I guess you're going to look it up anyway, so I won't.
Ard Boy Big Boss. Add 1 to Shield Bash rolls for friendly Ard Boys while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit. The Shield Bash is basically just like mortal wounds after this unit fights. And then it can issue the rally command up to 2 times to an Ard Boys unit, essentially.
Right.
And then you can return a slain model to each to that unit on a 5-up instead of. So basically, like, it can issue rally twice, and then it returns them on 5s instead of 6s, which is pretty nice because our boys are pretty tough.
Yep.
So he's got one of those. He's got Arcane Tome, just to get an extra caster. He's got Gobsprak, which is going to be like anytime Gobsprak unbinds a spell, the spell caster suffers D3 mortal wounds. Or if the unbind attempt is, I think, 10 or more.
10 or more. Yep.
Then it's D6 mortal wounds instead.
Yep.
And that's including modifications.
Yep.
I believe.
It is. And once per game, he can decide to do a 3d6 unbind as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So Gobsprak is going to be, I think he's got 2 unbinds as well.
He does.
He's going to be hurting Tzeentch wizards quite a bit.
Yeah.
He's going to, or any casters, he's going to be hurting, but it's going to be especially bad into like Tzeentch or Seraphon or something that really doesn't want to be taking mortals directly to their casters. So
exactly.
that's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And then he's got 2 Orc War Chanters, one of which has Get 'em Beat, which is basically a 3d6 charge on a 2-up or a 3-up? 3-up.
I think it's 3-up. Yeah.
And then Fix and Beat is just a heal.
Yep.
Then he's got a group of 10 Brutes. 280 points is 10. Brutes are just lots of wounds on a 4-up save. They do a ton of damage. He's got a group of
30.
30 is that 30?
Yeah, because they're 180 each, right?
No.
Oh no, that would make sense.
20 each. That's 20.
They're 220 for 10?
Yeah.
Damn. That's expensive.
So he's got 20-yard boys with stickers, and the stickers are basically better rend when they get charged.
Right.
Medic. And then he's got another group of 5 brutes. He's got Rippus Snarlfangs, which I can't remember what that is. He's got a group of 3 Gore-Gruntas.
Rippus Snarlfangs are the goblins on the wolves.
Gotcha. Okay. So probably just like speedy objective takers and whatnot.
They're like a good tech piece. Yeah.
So this is going to be a very like foot slogging, pretty tough, and then like somewhat recursion focused.
And also like defensively focused. If you charge into them, you're going to have a bad time. It's very anti-melee. I think it might struggle a little bit with shooting lists, maybe, but with the recursion and everything, and it can put out some hits as well too. Yeah.
Yep. Difficult says, just remember, it's not the goofy orc that stares; it's the little squig that's the real hero. That's true. Yeah.
It's always the squig that's the real hero, even when the squig is just their like toupee. Yeah.
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 Yep. But yeah, this list has like, I think all of the tools it needs to score a lot of like the auto score battle tactics. Right. So it's going to be pretty scary to go up against because it's just going to be so defensive, like really inhospitable for you to go in and charge into, just because it's going to punish you hard, and I don't think you're going to be able to chew through all of those wounds on that high of a save.
Totally. And yeah, I don't know. I just think this list is awesome. Like thematically, it's really fun and cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 35 like orcs in the battle line section, just like marching up the table, which is pretty cool.
Oh man, yeah. And like just the what do you call it? Ard boys are just so hard to kill, like Chaos Warrior style. But cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look out for. I like it.
Yep. Next list. So I've got 4 more.
Okay.
Let's go Benjamin Hosking, Slaves to Darkness.
There it is. Slaves to Darkness.
And so normally when you think of Slaves to Darkness, you might think a whole bunch of Chaos Warriors are chosen in Host of the Everchosen with a little bit more recursion because they've got a better rally.
I think of Varangard because they're like...
So the second thing I was going to say.
Sorry.
Varangard, Chaos Knights, and Knights of the Empty Throne just because they get run and charge, and it's pretty spicy. This list is neither of those things. This is Ravagers, and we saw this, I think, last time, or he's played this a couple times, but I saw it at the US Open Tacoma.
Okay.
Where basically what it is he's got a Slaves to Darkness Demon Prince with the Idolator Lord, who is Nurgle. What Idolator Lord does is makes him a priest and gives his Mark of Chaos to all of his what's it called, cultists.
Oh,
so that means that all of the cultists now are -1 to wound because they're Nurgle. Right. And then what he's done is he's taken 20, 40, 60, 80 Splintered Fang.
This man has no soul.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So 80
Wow.
Splintered Fang, which are going to be -1 to wound. Not that they're particularly tough
No, they're
otherwise,
not.
but
But they
all of
put
their
out.
attacks are going to be mortals on 6s to hit, which is pretty spicy. And what Ravagers does is basically, as a heroic action,
Yeah.
you can basically bring back a cultist unit that had died previously at half strength.
Okay.
And obviously, you can't replace units that have already been replaced. But that means that those 80 Splintered Fang are really 120 Splintered Fang because it's a heroic action. It can be done in either player's turn.
Jeez.
It doesn't have to be in your turn, and it just happens. It doesn't. There's no dice roll or anything like that. So lots of
Damn.
recursion in this list. He's got some Chaos Gargants, which I think affect your save. And there's some monsters for 150 points, which is kind of nice.
Yep.
Mind Stealers, Phalanxes, of which there are 2. I think they have like a fight last thing. I'm pretty sure within 9 inches.
That sounds right. Yeah.
There's some tech there.
Cool.
It's going to be pretty spicy. Yeah, this is going to be a tough list to go up against. It's just like really attrition based.
Right.
And I guess if you can kill all the heroes, great.
It
But
also has a crap ton of damage from the Splintered Fang, man.
yeah, exactly.
How many are there total again?
80?
80.
Wait, 20, 40, 60, 80. Yeah, 80. And then there's
And then there's recursion.
2 groups of untamed beast. And then there's 1 group of unmade, which is going to turn off your ability to do inspiring presence and redeploy.
And redeploy, yeah. And
Yeah.
what's the last one you said before that? I should just look at it.
Untamed beast.
Yeah, Untamed Beasts have the pregame move, so they can get out in front and really screen out the army better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So this list is just going to be really
very cool.
kind of similar to what Tom Guan's doing, where it's just lots of recursion and basically just going like, what are you going to do about this? Like,
I don't know, man. Yeah, I like Tom Guan's more because it's Soul Blight, actually. That's the main reason.
yeah, fair enough. Then he's got 2 battle regiments, which I think means he's a 2-drop.
Yep.
Which is pretty spicy.
Jeez.
So
cool.
yeah. Yeah. Next up, let's do Gavin Gregar, who's also going to be doing Cities of Sigmar, which I think is the only repeated faction in my top 10 list.
Okay, that's fair. Is he
Try to
taking...
spread out more. Gavin is like a really well-known player. He's done extremely well in a lot of events. He's what's up?
Oh no, I was like the list popped up and I noticed something very interesting. So
Yeah. So Gavin also does not have any Fusiliers in his list.
so
None whatsoever.
That's so awesome.
What he does have is, so he's Hallowheart as well, which means he's going to be casting on 3d6. He instead has 4 steam tanks as his battle line. And steam tanks are basically on a 2-up save base.
Yep.
Which is very good. And then they have 2 shooting profiles, one of which is like long range, only 1 shot, and one of them is short range. I think it's 2d6 shots. However, what they can do is this thing where it's like full steam ahead or something like that, or charge the steam tanks or engines or whatever, some thematic ability name. And they roll 2d6. And then I think if the number is less than the amount of wounds that they've suffered, then it suffers D3 mortal wounds. But if it's not, then they add 1 attack to the long range attack characteristic and D6 attacks to the short range attack characteristic. So they're pretty much like getting way more damage output. There is a gits list.
Nice, thank you.
I promise.
I wanted one too, Ludivicus, just for the
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, steam tanks are going to be just super tough. They've got a lot of threat projection because they can move pretty fast.
Yeah.
There's a steam tank commander, which is going to be doing a very similar profile, like outwardly. He's got Maestro Vivetti's magnificent macroscope. Ooh, that was a lot to say. Which basically makes it so that all of the steam tanks, or all of the ranged weapons close to him, are going to be plus 3-inch range, which just gives it even more threat projection. He's got 2 free guild command corps, which means that he's going to have 2 attempts to shut off a command of yours on a 4-up per turn or per battle round. I think it's per turn.
Per turn, and then can't he also steal a command point from you as well?
I don't know about that.
The spy?
I can't remember. I thought the spy was just shutting down your command abilities. But another important thing is that each free guild command corps is going to be healing stuff too.
Oh man, yeah, that's right.
So really, you want to be focusing down these tanks super hard because you can't chip damage them to death. for sure.
That's true.
Granted, the steam tanks do not have a ward save, so
They don't.
anything that's going to be mortal wound heavy is going to be really good into these.
But it also, if you give them the right order, then and they're like, even if you try and shoot the command core, they might have the steam tank might have an order where it immediately gets to shoot you.
Yeah.
So.
And one steam tank worth of shooting isn't going to be like devastating, but it's going to suck for sure.
It's gonna suck. Yeah.
They do also have a Alchemite Warforger, which the first thing you might be thinking is, so it has Blizzard, which kind of sucks to go into. First thing you might be thinking is that the Warforger is going to be casting its aura of 6s to hit or also on Mortal Wound in addition.
Right.
I don't know if it's actually going to be doing that, because the other thing that a Warforger can do is an aura of +1 to save. And if you have an aura of +1 to save on things that are already 2-up saves, good luck. They're going to be
soul once again.
They're extremely easily going to be on 0+ saves.
Yeah.
Extremely easily.
Yeah.
There's a battle
defense,
mage.
Mystic Shield, etc.
Totally. There's a battle mage with on Celestial Hurricanum. I forgot what that did. I'm going to be honest. It also buffs of some kind.
It used to, yeah, it used to be +1 to hit, but I don't know what it is now. And it used to have like a shooting attack that did mortals, but I don't know.
It still has a shooting attack that does mortals.
Okay.
And yeah, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Sigmar human units wholly within 9 inches of friendly units with this ability. And steam tanks are humans. So
they are humans. Somehow.
So if they're within 9 inches of that Celestial Hurricanum, then they're going to be +1 to hit. They're probably going to be +1 to save from the Alchemite Warforger.
This is so gross.
And
my hat's off to them, though.
This is just a brick.
Yeah.
And obviously the free guild command corps are going to be there for healing and taking away your command points as well. So
not a lot of bodies, though.
No. So each one of those tanks only counts as 2, I think, on objectives.
Right, because it's not a monster. Yeah.
So that's going to be a big problem for this list. So if this list goes into like Tom Guan,
then
it's over.
Or even the Snaky Boys, because like again, no mortal wound shrug on the steam tank.
Maybe it's not so bad in Tom Guan actually, because these things, they can be getting 3d6 shots into those zombies each.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
And
that's true.
And they're not going to be suffering any damage back.
I actually think that the Snaky Boy list is probably...
It's probably better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because those are actually going to be dealing mortals to this. And yeah, that's fair. But so any list that's going to be able to survive the output of the steam tanks and then kind of like muscle them off objectives is not going to have a problem with this list. But this is still pretty scary.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. 2 more lists. One of which is Gits. I'll save that one for the end. Actually, we'll do it now.
Anyway, okay.
So let's look at Chris Lemoy, another Dimensional Cascade member.
Very strong player.
Yep. The Lemoys are my bane.
Right.
I've never beaten a Lemoy.
Oh, man.
It's true, actually. But
that's wild.
Yeah. So he's going to be running a pretty similar list to what we would have seen at WCW Big Phil run.
Oh, okay.
Where you've got 2 groups of 15 Boingrot Bounders.
So first of all, it's Jaws of Mork, so an extra attack on the all squigs.
Cool. Of which there are a lot.
Yes. One would hope.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Protect the Shrine, which I believe is just like don't have an enemy within 9 inches of the shrine, and the shrine can't be broken.
If you have a terrain piece, like exactly.
Yeah. He's got Scragrot because he needs to. He needs Scragrot. He has Scragrot's going to be able to he knows all of the Git spells, so he can teleport Gits around. He can do his War Scroll spell to do a whole bunch of mortal wounds and so on and so forth. He does have a Madcap Shaman who knows Hoarfrost, but not Blizzard. Command trait is the Clammy Hand, which I believe gives you a second roll on the shrine. Is that right? Oh no, sorry, that's King's Gits. This one allows you to re-roll the shrine, I think.
No, King's Gits allows you to re-roll. This one gives you the extra roll, so you can roll 2 a turn. Yeah.
But basically, he's making his recursion more reliable.
Yeah.
From his shrine,
and just getting more recursion too.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's got Moonface Mommet, which
it's the -1 to your save within 9, I think.
Okay, so if you get too close, it can debuff you pretty bad.
Yep.
He knows Hoarfrost, which is going to be extremely valuable on those bounders.
Sure is.
He's, as I said before, he's got 2 groups of 15 bounders. Those are going to be moving d6 plus 7 inches, plus they can run and charge in the light of the bad moon, plus they can be teleported by Scragrot.
And also Scragrot provides the light of the bad moon, so you can just have like a moving... Yeah,
exactly. I don't think they have any means of getting +1 to charge, or does Gobapalooza do that?
1 second.
Or is that Sneaky Snuffler? I think actually they might. Gobapalooza might do that.
Gobapalooza might do that. Yeah, Sneaky Snufflers does not. Sneaky Snufflers is an extra attack if you roll a 6-up, or if you have +1 in the light of the bad moon, so it'd be a 5-up, and then they also give the ward on a 3-up or a 2-up in the light of the bad moon. I can't remember about Gobapalooza. I haven't been playing Gits lately because whenever someone comes on the channel that like is that what it was?
Yeah, it's add 1 to run and charge rolls actually.
Right. So you have to pick either that, or you can pick the extra rend. I typically go for the rend just because, like, trolls with -3 rend or squigs with -2 rend is ridiculous without a volume of attacks. But yeah.
You have to pick either the +1 rend. But basically, like, if you want to send a unit, like if you want to teleport a unit out with Scragrot, you probably do want to give them +1 to charge, because an 8-inch charge instead of a 9-inch charge from deep,
huge.
It's huge.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It just makes it so much more reliable. Obviously, he has the Gobapalooza, as I said before, which is going to be, it's got Itchy Nuisance, which I think is the bubble of -1 to hit, right? Or no, that's something else.
No, that's their War Scroll spell. Itchy Nuisance, I think, is Fight Last, but I can't remember.
Either way, Gobapalooza, big tech piece.
Yeah.
It's going to be
really good tech piece, and they have the 4-up ward in the battle round 1 and 5-up in battle round 2, and then 6-up thereafter.
It's got two groups of Stabbas as well, which are undoubtedly going to be holding a group of Fanatics each, just because Fanatics can't be placed in a unit that has the Squig keyword, so it can't be in the Bounders.
They can't be in Gobapalooza, though.
Oh, it could be in Gobapalooza or the Stabbas.
Yeah.
So there's 3 choices, essentially. There is also Sneaky Snufflers. They were in there. I missed that. Oops.
Yeah, they are.
And they'll be issuing at a 5-up ward, basically.
That's their main purpose. And then if you get lucky, you get an extra attack.
Yeah. And so what these Fanatics are going to do is at the start of the combat, or start of the charge phase, they can pop out of whatever unit they were hidden in, and then they have fight first, just base, and then they have d6 attacks of like d3 damage each, which is pretty scary. Rend 2. Or if the unit that they were hidden in dies, they immediately pop out.
Yeah.
And then they have fight first, so they can swing at whatever, just kill that unit. So it can be pretty telegraphed, but sometimes if you have to clear a screen, it can be really, really rough, because they'll pop out and just absolutely murder something else.
Yeah.
This is a pretty scary list. It's very similar to what I saw Big Phil run. And yeah, it's just going to be super aggro. It's going to be super spiky. And
it's quite fast, too. The Boingrod's Bounders, obviously, are very fast. It's interesting, too. Like, I haven't seen Fanatics, because Fanatics are very swingy. Like, a lot of the time they just do absolutely nothing. So this is actually a really interesting list to me, and it's not something I probably would have run, but like, I like it a lot. So yeah, I'll be curious to see how he does.
Yeah.
Mr. Lemoy.
And then the last list, probably surprising nobody, Anthony Trentinelli and his Skaven 3 Bells list is here. Or not his list, it was actually Tom Maudsley who brought it to Worlds. Or World Championship.
Someone else brought it before that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
the Skaven list, basically.
Yeah. The only working Skaven list. The single thing that has propped up this faction from being minus 50% its entirety, like the entire time it's been existed in AOS 3. And yeah, we literally finally got to 50%. So good job, boys. Awesome.
Yep. If you want, you can talk about this list a little more because you're the
Certainly,
Skaven guy.
I
But
do like it. Yeah, it's funny. I love the Screaming Bell. It's one of my favorite models ever. So the Screaming Bell is the general. It doesn't give you anything, in Skaven for it being the general, but command trait is Diabolical Schemer, which I'm almost positive, like it's the one I never take, but if it's the same as it was in AOS 2, it's the one where you can steal command points on a 6-up. So anytime your opponent gets a command point, you roll a dice, and then on 6 you get to steal it. I never ever steal it. So personally, I like actually Master of Magic because it gives you, because the Screaming or the Grey Seer is on +2 to cast at its base, and then you get free rerolls on both casts and on binds for 2 of them. Seems better to me, but yeah. Is it the stealing one?
so what it is I'll just read it out verbatim.
Sure.
Master Clan hero only.
Yep.
Roll a dice each time an enemy model issues a command within 13 inches of this
Oh.
general. On a 5+, that command is not received. The command point spent is lost, and you receive 1 command point.
That's actually way better than the AOS 2 version.
Yep.
That's actually kind of cool because then you just throw it up, and now that it can move on its own, which is like the major change that happened to it. Also, they lowered the points at the same time, and you should never lower the points. At the same time, you change the rule, but GW refuses to learn. Yeah, I really like that now. I might take that at some point. Grey Seer on Screaming Bell, Death Frenzy. So he's got the spell enhancement. So he's got Death Frenzy, Skitter Leap, and Skitter Leap is the teleport a hero. Death Frenzy is something when it fights, or it's only on monster. It's basically you can't use it on heroes for the regular version, and when it fights, or when it dies, it fights. What up, Beefy? Thanks for joining us. And then the final Screaming Bell has Skaven Brew, which it hands out D3 mortal wounds, and then a unit gets +1 attack, so that's usually going to go on something with a lot of attacks. And then it's got Flaming Weapon as well. So, it can buff itself. It's such a crappy, attack piece that it's like the one thing I never take Flaming Weapon on, but that's interesting. Plague Priest, and then it's got a Plague Priest on Plague Furnace for the, Battle Shock immunity in a bubble of 12 or 13 inches. I can't remember which one it is. And Skabic Plague Seeker, which he's the guy who can, turn off... objectives for your opponent if you have his warband on that objective. They just have to be like on it. They don't have to. You don't have to have more than anyone or anything like that. And so he's got 3 Grey Seers. He's got 3 priests. So it really leans into the grand strategy of Arch Corruptors of the Mortal Realms. Yeah, and then he's got 2 units of Clan Rats. Yeah, this literally is the list. And then 2 packs of 15 Plague Sensor Bearers. They're very hitty, very good. Skabic's Plague Pack, which comes with Skabic. And the Soul Scream Bridge for teleporting shenanigans. He's got a Battle Reg and a Command Entourage. And so that gives him the extra... That's what gives him the extra spell enhancement. And yeah, that's it. 1990. And it will be 4 drops.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the Screaming Bell interaction?
Well, basically, the Screaming Bell is going to be... All 3 of them are going to be pushed up the field. They're going to try and go up as far as they can, debuff you with the bell that rings, and then you're going to attack it, fail to kill it, and then they're going to get a free Vermin Lord when you do that. Do not concentrate on the Screaming Bells unless you know you can kill it. You need to be able to kill it by a third, because it has a 5-up ward. It has a bodyguard rule for all, for the Clan Rats are all bodyguards, and it's not a can, it's a must. So that's something to kind of be aware of, is that if you attack the Screaming Bell, it has to put that onto them. Which is not as good, because you want to modulate your wounds taking for the Screaming Bell, because once you get over 7 is when you can summon the Vermin Lord. If you have any shooting at all, put it into the Plague Sensor Bearers. They are very weak to shooting. They will die to a fart, and they are very, very killy. So yeah, that's basically what's going to happen. They're going to push them up, and so you're going to, it's very tempting to attack the Screaming Bell with, all its wounds, and it's only rocking a 4-up, but it has that 5-up ward, and it has the bodyguards nearby, and now that they can move on their own, it's really quite strong. Don't do it. That's what I'm going to say. Don't do it. You're going to do it anyway. But I told you. I warned you.
What would you say if let's say you're an ogre's player, for instance? Maybe a combined arms ogre.
Such a random army. Okay, go on. Go on.
What might you do against this list? Like, what might you focus on?
I would use your cannon to shoot the plague sensor bearers.
Okay.
I would definitely push up the. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, like use them as use your Noblars as a screen to deal with someone, teleporting, because of the gnaw holes and because of skitter leap. You can now he can't skitter leap his screaming bells. They are too many wounds. But he can send the priests around, and the priests are also very deadly because they can get great plagues off, because it's +1 for each priest nearby, and +1 for the gnaw hole. So they can get a great plague, which normally happens on a 6 on like a 3-up. Right. So yeah, I would shoot the sensor bearers, and then there's no output. Shoot the sensor bearers and the clan rats. And then they've got nothing to be on objectives and no output, because the Screaming Bells are poopy at attacking stuff. They're really bad. Like if he tries to cast Flaming Weapon, let it go. Just give him all that stuff. You just want to control objectives, charge in and kill things that you can. If he gets to summon a Vermin Lord, it'll probably be Lord Screech Vermin King because it's still allowed, but he might also take the Deceiver because the Deceiver is so mobile and it's pretty killy. It has a lot of rend, and because when you add an army, a unit to your list through summoning, you can pick spells for it. So he can pick Flaming Weapon on the Deceiver after he summons it to the game. So it can be pretty deadly, Yeah.
Okay. And you told us about some debuffs that can be applied. Can you tell us a little about the specifics of that?
It's so random. So it's just a D6 roll. It's not 2D6 like it used to be. So it's actually like the wackest rule. Like a lot of people are just don't even do it. And a lot of people actually hope to roll a 1 so they can do D3 mortal wounds to their own unit. But again, make sure that if there's clan rats nearby, that they are taking those bodyguards onto them.
They have
to. Yeah. But yeah, it's like it can be like -1 to hit in a bubble of like 12 or 13 inches. It's just random stuff like +6 inches to their move. It's just crazy random. So, but I don't, a lot of people just don't even use it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Where do you drop the Vermin Lord? You drop the Vermin Lord within the range of the Peel of Doom. I think it's 12 or 13 inches of the bell itself. So you could actually block it off. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'm like one of the few people who was taking it before it was good, just because I like the model, and that's not like a brag, because it's just a flex on how much I like Skaven, I suppose. But I'm pretty sure it is.
Also, Beefy Crunch, you said, did you run my list yet? If you want us to take a look at your list, pop your name in chat, and I don't know if you want to do that, but you can pop your name in chat and we'll take a look at it.
Well, and Beefy's in the Discord too, so you can do it like that.
Yeah, you can message me on Discord with that too. That's totally fine. I mean, there's kind of no avoiding seeing your name though, just because we're literally looking at your list on stream.
So the Vermin Lord is added within 13 inches of the bell. So
gotcha.
You could
outside of 9?
You could stop them. I don't think so. I should have probably just kept reading. Oh, yep, outside of 9.
Okay, so there's a theoretical way that you could prevent it from being set up, but it's really unlikely.
And you can only get 1 Vermin Lord per Screaming Bell, but that's still like each vermin lord you get is worth like 30% more points than the item itself. So yeah, it's pretty wild, man.
Right. Okay. Why don't we do Beefy Crunch's list first as the first, like...
I would love to do. Yeah.
And then we can start rolling on the wheel of lists. I had to change the cadence for copyright reasons, but yeah.
Oh, I started typing Beefy even though he literally just put his name. That's crazy.
Beefy Riley.
Oh, Disciples. Awesome. That's cool, man. Okay. Guild of Summoners. Master of Destiny, which is like the best. We didn't talk about it before, but it's the best grand strategy in the game. You just get to choose. You're just like, I get these 3 points.
For anyone that doesn't know, Master of Destiny is basically you just need... Okay, so Tzeentch roll Destiny dice at the start of the game. 9 dice, I think.
Yep.
And what they need to do is just, at the end of the battle, have a combined total of 9.
9 points.
9 points.
Yeah, so you could have 1 dice that's 6 and 1 that's 3, and you can just set them aside, never use them, and then you get them. You get your grand strategy.
So it's a really easy one to get.
It's super cool.
So after that, he's got a Curseling.
Yep.
Which has Shaman of the Chilllands, which is just, again, Blizzard, Hoarfrost, really good. Secret Eater is the one where I think it's if it unbinds a spell,
I think
it gets to know it or something.
It gets to know it, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's right.
Yep, I'm pretty sure.
And then Glimpse into the Future, which I believe just gives you fate points, and then Shield of Fate, which I think is a 5-up ward. It's got Kairos Fate Weaver, which is the Mega Chicken.
Yep.
So Kairos is going to be doing a lot of
3 casts, 3 unbinds. You get an extra Destiny dice at the start of the hero phase, I think. You just get to roll a new one. That's assuming they don't... If you have 9 dice already, you can't roll it, but other than that, you can. Ogre Thermitage. Yep. You know, so that's a mortal caster, so you can bring it from him. I think, is the Curseling a demon? I can't remember.
No, I'm pretty sure Curseling is...
Right? Okay.
Let me pull it up.
And then Magister on Disc is also not. And it has like a really good War Scroll spell for turning things into globs of poo, essentially. Poo and
Curseling is a mortal.
Mortal? Cool. Arcanite, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So the Ogre, Thaumaturge, the Curseling, and the Magister are all going to be your mortals, where you're going to be seeing more chickens come from.
So it's
what's interesting
Kairos
is that you see...
can't.
Sorry?
It's just Kairos that doesn't get to do it.
Yep, exactly.
Wow.
So since Kairos is already starting on the battlefield, basically going to be having a chicken in turn 1, essentially. Yep. Or sorry, 2 chickens in turn 1.
Yep.
Which is kind of scary. He's got 2 groups of minimum size Kyrok Acolytes, and then 1 group of 20 Kyrok Acolytes. Those are going to be mostly used as screens, but they do have some shooting attacks for some plink damage from afar, and just standing on points. He's also interestingly got Corvus Cabal and Splintered Fang. So Splintered Fang is going to be giving him some melee mortal output. It's just going to be more bodies standing on a point. Corvus Cabal, I think, Deep Strikes in, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm almost positive. And I think they can't be seen if they're on a terrain piece, if they're on...
Right.
If they're in terrain. I can't remember.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Corvus Cabal is going to be nice just because I know that Tzeentch really likes to castle up, because it's like, you know, you really want to like castle up and have like your kind of spell damage just exploding outwards from that small castle. But having something that deep strikes down is going to be really valuable for just capping an objective when you really need to. And that might be like, you know, and it just makes some battle plans a lot safer. Like Geomantic Pulse, you can just say like, okay, I'm just going to drop my Corvus Cabal down on the other side of the table to get that pulse, and then I'm totally fine. Especially because he's not winning the drops game, so he could get double turned, and then, or sorry, he could, yeah.
And then Beefy just clarified the artifact on his staff: D6 attacks, shooting, and combat. 6s to hit. You get a Destiny dice every 6. That's actually sick. Now I'm assuming you can't. If you have 9 Destiny dice, Beefy, you can't add Destiny dice if you don't, like if you haven't used them. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've seen that before. I saw it like a long time ago when Tzeentch first came out. I think it was Caleb was using it, and he says the Corvus Cabal is in cover, can't be targeted. So that's pretty dope.
Gotcha. And then lastly, he's got a cockatrice. Or not lastly, there's some endless spells, but he's also got a cockatrice, which basically is just going to be doing some mortal wound output. And I'm just going to read out the Petrifying Gaze, which is the cockatrice's ability. At the start of the combat phase, you can pick one enemy unit within 6 inches of this unit and roll a dice. On a 4-up, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If any mortal wounds were caused by this ability, are allocated to a unit until the end of that phase, only unmodified hit rolls of 6 for attacks made with melee weapons by that unit can score a hit. The same unit cannot be affected by this ability more than once per phase. So you can really shut down a unit with the cockatrice, which is quite nice. So
how many wounds are they again?
Cockatrice is 8 wounds on a 6-up, so it's killable.
Oh,
100%
yeah.
killable.
Very killable. But I was just
like,
thinking, I need to get me a cockatrice.
Yeah. Yeah, not gonna lie, like, if I was playing against this, that's like Iron Blaster bait.
Yeah.
Period. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna try and shoot that off the table immediately because I don't like that.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No kidding. And then Burning Sigil of Siege, you can put it out there at the end of the movement phase. It zaps anything in range, and it can turn them into a pile of tentacle poo. Yeah, also known as a spawn. Fine. Go with the scientific name. The demonic simulacrum moves around pretty quick and poops out mortals. Emerald Life Swarm, everyone knows it and sort of likes it. D3, it heals. Yep.
And basically, one of these, he's going to be able to put out at the beginning of the game, and for the first battle round, it cannot be unbound.
Yes. So, no, you can only do one of the Zeech ones. Emerald Life Swarm.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to be putting out either the Burning Sigil or the Demonic Simulacrum. And honestly, I don't know if there's going to be one specific one that he's going to be putting out each game. It probably just depends on who his opponent is. And
it depends on who's taking the first turn, too.
Yeah.
Because if they make you take the first turn, then or at least this is how I like to do it. I usually put out the Burning Sigil because then it's like, well, it's going to hit twice, basically. So
yeah, very true. Very true. But yeah, pretty cool list. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thanks, Beefy. Really dope. And he says, wanna... yes, the Destiny dice cap at 9.
Okay, cool.
Cap.
Very
Okay.
So let's roll on the wheel of lists.
We didn't plan that, everyone, by the way. That awkwardness we achieved through our own, God-given talent.
It's actually legally obliged to awkwardness too, just because
true.
Copyright reasons we can't say the other thing.
Yeah,
that wheel is with that many names on it. It's just like
I know. I was saying to our pleasure. We'd really be Sag of Dice episode if Rob didn't mention poo. That's true. That's true. I take great pride in that, actually. You think I'd be a Nurgle player? I think I like should be a Nurgle player, and Carson should be a Slaanesh player. The mustache, Carson. The mustache. I talk about poo a lot, and your mustache.
And I'm just a deviant because I have a mustache.
Yes.
That it?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Moving right along.
There we go. The Fortune of Wheels.
So I guess I'll just... So actually, here, you explain, because this is your idea, and it's awesome.
So basically what we've done is we've taken everyone that submitted a list for LVO as a snapshot last night.
Yeah. We
put it into this random wheel, and what we're going to do is we're going to spin the wheel. When the name pops up, we will review that person's list.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And I think it goes without saying, but I don't think you excluded the names from the list of stuff that we already went over. So there's a 1 in 36 chance that we're going to get the same name, and we'll just skip it. We'll just roll again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to have a very delayed reaction, so please just read the name out loud.
Right. Right. I keep thinking. Right. Okay. Fortune of Wheels. Corey Wiggins. So like Corry, by the way.
Ooh, Ogre Maw Tribes.
Oh my.
Let's take a look at this.
This is Destiny This is Destiny dice right here.
Destiny.
Boulderhead.
Boulderhead.
Corey.
Bone saw's ready. Okay, sorry.
Bone saws ready. Okay, I'm getting hyped. Clearly a little too hyped.
Anything with randomness, you're like,
Yeah, exactly. I haven't played Skaven
don't
enough
ever go to
lately.
a casino.
I'm actually like I just like when it comes to real money though, I grew up with so little money that like I'm just like, nope, I just don't gamble. Like I just literally don't gamble. Yeah. But when it's a game, there's no real consequences. You know, you're like, oh, I lost the game. Who cares? Did you have fun? Did you get to roll dice? Well, then you won. Go on. Sorry.
I already love this list.
Yes.
Just that first glance.
Yeah.
Because it's ogres.
Yes.
So let's just go down. We have Boulderhead.
Yeah.
Grand strategy is Slaughter of Sorcery.
What does Boulderhead do for the people?
So Boulderhead just takes all of the stone horns and thunder tusks and gives them +2 wounds, as well as it makes it so that the ogre heroes that are like mounted on these monsters, 3 of them can get mount traits instead of just 1. So basically, both of this guy's heroes are going to have mount traits, as we can see.
Yep.
And grand strategy is Slaughter of Sorcery, so just kill all the wizards. No more wizards.
Die, wizards.
Die. Triumph is Bloodthirsty, which I think was at 1980, so it's got a Triumph bid. Bloodthirsty is the reroll a charge, I think.
Yep.
And then let's just go down the list.
Inspired is the +1 to wound. It's really weird.
I'm trying to think of the order I want to do this. Let's just go down. Okay, Huskadron Thundertusk is his general. That general has Voice of the Avalanche, which just means that it can issue board-wide commands. The 18-inch rule does not apply.
That's so cool.
It gets 1 free command point per game, basically.
Wow, that's actually kind of rad.
It is pretty good, yeah.
Is this only for like certain units or certain subfactions or anything like that?
It's only for Beastclaw Raiders generals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it'd have to be like a Stonehorn or Stonehorn Thundertusk or Icebrow Hunter or something like that.
Cool.
He's got the Blood Vulture, which basically just picks a unit that is visible, and on a 2-up it suffers 1 mortal wound. Then he's got the mount trait Rhymefrost Hide, which just makes him a honorary Stonehorn. It gives him a 5-up ward. He knows Pulverizing Hailstorm, which he picks a point within 18 inches. With anything within 3 inches of that on a dice roll that I can't remember, suffers D3 mortal wounds. And then the Nullstone Adornment hand-carved Nullstone Icon, which is just the potentially infinite unbinds, essentially.
Right.
So it gives him an unbind, and then every time he successfully unbinds, he can just get another unbind.
That's cool, man.
Just keep going.
Love it.
Next up, we've got a Huskard on Stonehorn. So we don't have a Frostlord on Stonehorn, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Also has a Blood Vulture, which is kind of fun. So that's so far 2 mortal wounds on the 2-up.
Yeah.
To anything that's visible
Yeah.
in the shooting phase. Artifact is Seat of Alvigar, and what that is basically once per game, it can do a second monstrous action.
Right.
Then the mount trait is Rockmate Elder, which is -1 to wound, and the prayer that he knows is heal. So just getting some, anything that you can heal on a Stonehorn is fantastic. So just for anything with a 5-up ward that has a heal is great.
So I guess the difference between a Frostlord is that it's a little bit more attacky because of its spear in the combat.
It's a little more
phase?
attacky.
Yeah.
It also gives a bubble of +1 to hit.
Oh.
Or sorry, not +1 to hit.
Oh,
+1 to charge.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Which you can argue is not super necessary here.
Yeah, I don't mind this, because the prayer is pretty cool in itself. So
Yes, but I'm going to verify this before I look like a moron. One sec. Okay, it is what I thought. It's a 4-up save instead of a 5-up save, or a 3-up save.
Oh, it's a 3-up save instead of a 4-up save.
The Frostlord is a 3-up save instead of a 4-up save. So that's one big difference.
Huge.
Yeah.
That's actually huge.
So both of his heroes are going to be on 4-ups with 5-up wards, sure, but they're monsters, so they can kind of just get shot off the table. That's the one weakness I see here.
Right.
Let's kind of dive into the battle line a little bit. He's got 3 Stonehorn Beast Riders, which the mount of the Stonehorn stays the exact same. It's still got its rock hard horns. It's still got its crushing hooves. All of them can do the Stonehorn fly thing, or one of them can per charge phase.
Right.
All of them had Blood Vultures.
Right.
And the only thing is that the riders really don't have a lot of great
No.
attacks. Like it's 6 attacks on, I think, threes, or maybe fours, something like that. No round to 1 damage. So it's just like plink damage. It's really the Stonehorn that you're there for.
Yeah, for sure.
Then he's got 1 Thunder Tusk Beast Riders, also with a Blood Vulture. So we've got
blood vultures.
potentially 6 mortal wounds on a 2-up.
And it's
Basically,
not, and it doesn't matter because it's not like an actual shooting attack, correct?
it's not a shooting attack.
That's actually kind of techie.
Yeah, so he can pretty much delete a support hero once per turn, which is pretty spicy.
Yeah.
And against certain armies that, like against Tzeentch would really hate that. If you're just slowly chewing away at their mortal heroes, that's really rough for them. Not to mention, this is just going to be like a lot of impact damage. You've got 6 monsters that are all going to be doing it on 4s, which is pretty good. Impact mortals on 4s. So this is a fun list. I think this is going to be, it's going to do pretty well.
It's super fun. This is the exact kind of list that I would have run. Like I wanted to play Beastclaw Raiders back in the day, but even back then, like totally different friend group to now. And there was still a lot of Beastclaw Raiders. So I was like, well, I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't love them enough to be like the 5th Beastclaw Raiders guy. But this is the exact kind of thing I would like to run. So this looks awesome.
Yeah. And it's a 2-drop just because both of the generals are, neither of them can be a sub-commander.
Yeah, exactly.
So it has to be a 2-drop.
That's true.
But yeah. You got the Moth Pot for the big once per game heal.
Nice.
Which can be pretty nice.
And
cool.
It's just a lot of fun to play with like 6 models or whatever. You know what I mean? To just move 6 models around, and everyone else is like, little by little moving their models. Anyway,
Nice.
Cool.
Beefy Crunch says Teresa had this at Du Bois and she's back with it at LVO. Cool.
Oh, crazy.
Very cool.
So there's like 2 of this kind of list, hey?
Yeah, not surprising. I mean, this list definitely has teeth.
Yeah.
Certainly, there's going to be lists that this will go into and be kind of hard counter by. But
for sure.
I think that definitely this is going to be like somewhere between mid and top table bullies for sure.
Right. And the 5-up ward is only on the heroes. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
No, it's on all of them. It's on
all Stonehorns?
All Stonehorns.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then what were you saying that they were giving? Oh, that was because it was a Thunder Tusk to get the.
Yes.
Got it.
So there's going to be 1 monster that doesn't have a 5-up ward in this list, which is the Thunder Tusk Beast Riders.
Got it. I see. Wow. 5-up ward. It's pretty. That's hard to deal with.
I'd be pretty scared to go in this list.
Yeah.
This is one of those lists that's just like, if you can weather the storm, like it really depends on how your opponent plays. If if this person plays it, really cagey, they're like very smart with their positioning and stuff like that. Really just sending in Stonehorn missiles instead of just like trying to dogpile you in 1 turn.
Right.
It's gonna be pretty terrifying.
I agree. I think it will struggle with like Tom Guan stuff, just because it's like.
Yeah. It's 100% melee focused. Yeah, it's gonna be a little rough going into that.
Cool though. Okay. And so the Blood Vultures, they ignored the Lookout Sir, I assume, because it's not a shooting attack. It's it's an ability. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Crazy. Okay.
Let's roll another.
Wheel of Fish. I mean, names and lists. That's what I meant to say. It's so long. You can't even see what's spiel. Chris Werder, congratulations. We're going to look at your list. I don't know.
Loomspite kits.
Chris. Oh, there we go. I always mess up that name. Tough Crowd.
Chris Werder is part of the Tough Crowd, Tough Crowd, which is a very big, very competitive club. I think they're in the top 5 in the world. So.
Yep. So King's Gits for the reroll, Chasing the Moon. Scragrot makes most things battle line actually, as long as he has, it basically makes Squig Herd, Boimgrot's Bounders, it makes basically a few things battle line that are not already. He's got the Dankhold Trog boss as the general, Alpha Trog, make it a monster, and the Glowy Howitz for the ward save, and then he's got for his grand strategy Chasing the Moon, which I believe is having your general in the light of the bad moon. Yeah, and then the Madcap Shaman with another artifact, which is the Moonface Moppet. And as someone pointed out before, the Moonface Moppet interacts really well with stuff like additional rend from the Gobapalooza and or what's it called, Hoarfrost, because it's adding another thing at will. So you could have stuff up to like -4 rend effectively using it. What up, Darren? Thanks for joining us. We're just talking about some lists tonight from LVO. We're doing Wheel of Fish and also lists. So yeah, and he's got 2 units of Moonclad Stabas. The Rotgut Trogoths are battle line because of Mr. Scragrot here. And then he's got Sneaky Snufflers to hand out a ward. And then Gobapalooza and two Dankhold Trogoths. And that's why he's got the extra artifact, even though he doesn't have a Warlord, is because he has the Trog Herd Heavies. So you can have a unit of Trogoths, Dankhold Trogoths, and a, Dankhold Trogboss. I couldn't come up with a name all of a sudden. They have their own battalion, which gives you an extra enhancement. So he's probably a 3-drop, which is pretty sick for having an extra artifact like that. This list is awesome. 1950, solid Triumph bid, and you really want that with Gits. Yeah. This is awesome. The Dank Stank, indeed.
The Dank Stank.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I don't really have anything. Obviously, Indomitable is the Triumph because, for bravery and whatnot. But, yeah, this is really cool. I don't know what else to say. Cool. Moving right along. Are we going to spin the wheel again?
Let's do it.
Spin that wheel. Technotronic fans, no one? Tom Guan. Should we check out Tom Guan's list? I don't think we've... maybe we'll leave him alone.
Let's do it again.
Come on. Wheel of stuff. Things. Names. And lists.
Stuff.
Yeah. It takes so long to spin because it's got to go around.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Kevin Patterson. Congratulations.
Kevin Patterson. Gloomspite kits.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my. I think it's the most
did you,
represented pack.
sacrifice to the, the Bad Moon or something? Wait, what was it again?
I feel like it.
Kevin, what was it?
Kevin Patterson.
Patterson, okay.
Not to be confused with Jim Pattison.
That's
true. Different.
Yep.
Not to be confused with what's that? There's a Patterson actor, isn't there? The vampire guy.
The vampire guy.
Robert Pat. No, that's Pattinson.
Oh yeah. Probably.
Not to be confused with him. It's different.
I think so.
Yeah. Not to be confused with the SkyTrain station by Metrotown in Vancouver.
Oh my God.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Okay. King's Gets, Indomitable, this is a much funner list. Not that I'm not crapping on anyone's stuff, but it's got a Loom Boss on Mangler Squigs, which are definitely overpointed in my opinion, but they're super fun. And no command trait to get out of dodge after you fight. Madcap Shaman as the general with the clammy hands, so he's going to be bringing back a lot of stuff. Like he's going to be able to do 2 per turn and has a reroll at it, which is the fun tech, I suppose. Staff of Sneaky Stealing, I believe, is the one where you unbind, you get plus to your casts. I want to say, I can't remember. Why don't I look that up? Do you want to keep going through the list while I do that?
You stopped at which one? Sorry.
I stopped. Basically, Scragrot is next. Not that we haven't.
Scragrot. We don't really have to cover him anymore.
Indeed.
He does everything always. We've got one group of 10 Boingrot Bounders. That's 300 points. Yeah. Then we've got some Moonclan Stabas. We've got another group of 10 Boingrot Bounders. Then we've got a group of 15 Boingrot Bounders. So a total of 25. Wait, 10, 10, 15, 35? Am I doing that math correctly? 35 Boingrot Bounders total.
Whoa. Yeah,
which can
10
be
plus 15, 25. Is there more? Oh, yeah, there is. There's another
yep.
unit of 10.
And then we've got the
Jeez.
Gallapalooza, which is going to be issuing out some buffs to the one graph banners, but no sneaky snufflers for the private ward.
That's
Which is
interesting with all these squigs. And by the way, I was right. So it's +1 to cast, and then every time you unbind, you get another plus to your cast added. So that's interesting.
yep. Yep. Definitely a little bit light on like the screens. There's only one group of stabbers,
Yeah,
but that's a lot of squigs.
there's a
Like,
lot of very hitty squigs,
yeah.
and that he can bring back too. So yeah, to be honest,
Rally on fours?
what's that?
Do they rally on fours, right?
They rally on fours if you use the heroic action.
action.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
get to do that kind of for free, but you can't rally them after you bring them back, obviously. But I'm not sure, about this because like he has one unit of 15, so you bring back 8 when you do that, right? And then then he's got 2 units of 10, so you're bringing back 5. So I feel like it would be better to have 2 units of 15 and 1 unit of 5. But I mean, he probably knows this a lot better than I do. But that's just my first thought when I see it. I mean, it looks like a lot of fun. You've got the Loom Boss on Mangler Squig. So once per game, he can give out. He can just basically make it buff everyone, and they're +1 to hit and wound. I think, in an aura around him. So. Yes, and it does. Yeah, the +1 to cast every time you unbind lasts for the rest of the game from the Staff of Sneaky Stealin'. This is really cool though. It's fast and yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. But it will struggle a bit. I think it would have been good to have maybe another unit of Stabbers or something like that. But I feel this guy because like that is less fun. It's inherently less fun. So, yeah. Big aggro launch and reload style. Yeah, absolutely. Plus the once per game +1. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Very cool.
Should we go to another round of Technotronic?
Let's do it.
Spin that wheel.
We'll chip away at this wheel eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. Tom Guan again. I'm just kidding. It's not.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
I guess we're obligated to go with it.
Yeah. Kenny Hudman.
What was the name?
Kenny Hudman.
Kenny Hudman. Disciples
Disciples of Titsnitch. Love it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Woo.
It's sort of a Slaneshi version. Guild
More
of
Guild of
Summoners.
Summoners.
What do you know?
How original. Didn't they see the last 2 lists?
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Have some respect.
So,
Master of Destiny.
Yeah. Do you want it?
Sure. Magister. 2 Magisters actually, and the second one is bonded with the Kronspine. So this is kind of a classic Zeech list going back. An Ogroid. So you've got 3 regular like Arcanite heroes for summoning, then a regular Lord of Change, command trait Demon Spark for the extra points first turn, or usually, obviously, like why wouldn't you take it first turn? Staff of Zeech, which is the and Rod of Sorcery, so that's pretty popular. Artifacts 9-eyed Tome for the full rerolls, which is pretty good because when you roll 2 dice with any Lord of Change, the lower number matches the higher number. So it's just like a really strong way, and it's full rerolls. Like it's all casts, all unbinds, right? So it's a really strong thing to have on a Lord of Change because it's like, oh, I got like double 1s. Well, I reroll. Or even if you just get double 2s or double 3s, it's not that strong. Whereas you're more likely to roll like at least 1, 4, 5, or 6, and then it becomes an 8, 10, or 12. So it's a really good one. Spells are Ghost Mist and Levitate. 1 unit of Carrick Acolytes, 2 units of Carrick Acolytes, a unit of Zangors, and a unit of Ungors. Right, I keep forgetting that they're battle lines. So that's just a really cheap screen for 80 points. That's pretty dope. Of course, the Kronspine, which we saw earlier because it's bonded to the Magister. Umbral Spell Portal, which is really good in Zeech. So you can just toss out those mortals from range. Burning Sigil, because you definitely want to have a Zeech list that you could just cast for free and can't be unbound turn 1. Suffocating Gravetide, 30 points. And yeah, Battle Regiment, Command Entourage with Magnificent. with the extra artifact, which was what again? Nine-Eyed Tome, and did I miss that? Spells. Oh no, it's the spell enhancement. Duh, right. Yep, it's cool. Guild of Summoners is cool. I like it. I like free chickens.
Free chicken's great.
Yep. Just ask KFC. It's time.
Next up.
It's time for Wheel of Fish and Chickens.
Wheel of Chickens.
Wheel of Chickens. Chris Doherty? I don't know how to say his last name. Chris D.
Doherty? Oh, I met Deacon.
Chrissy D. Oh, cool.
Oh, that's a lot of sharks. Good God.
Is it 9 sharks in a bloody shiver? Yep.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Wow. So that is a small, 1,350 points of sharks. Obviously, it has to be in Fuithen because you can only get Bloodthirsty Shivers in Fuithen. Spellcasting Savant is interesting. Tidecaster, General, Master of Magic, Artifact, Ruin of the Surging Gloomtide. That's where you basically get another Gloomtide shipwreck. It can only be taken on it can't be taken like on it's basically on an Asharan hero only. Lotan, the man, the power's in his hands. He gives +1 to wound in a bubble of, I think it's 12 inches. And I forgot to mention the Tidecaster has Steed of Tides, which is you can teleport a hero. It's like teleport them away outside of 9. It has a range though. It's not like one of those ones where it's like you pick them up. It's like they move like something random, like 24 inches or something like that. But yeah, a butt ton of Alopexes with a Leviathan with the Mount Trait Reverberating Carapace, which is an extra 3 inches. So it's 15 inches on its bubble of +1 to your save. 2 battle regiments because the Alopexes are each 1 unit individually. So the Bloodthirsty Shiver is 3 of them, but it's not a unit. Each one of those is a separate unit. So that's 9 of them. So you literally can... That's what's limiting. Usually it's like your heroes or your behemoths or something like that, but in this case it's just the regular units. It looks like fun, pretty simple, a lot of shooting. Die.
Yep.
I like it.
It's gonna struggle a little bit on primaries for sure, because
sure.
There's 0 Namartis whatsoever in this list. There's also no Slap King, which is kind of interesting. Usually you see that just as like a melee hammer, but I guess he can't be protected by anything if there's no ground troops either from shooting at me.
Well, what do you mean? Like,
Lookout Sir wouldn't apply.
Well, Lookout Sir doesn't apply to this army because it's just whatever's closest.
That's true. Yep.
But like, I don't get why they have the artifact Ruin of the Surging Gloomtide, because the Gloomtide shipwreck does not affect the sharks.
Interesting.
Yeah, and usually when you see Gloomtide shipwreck, you've got it on the Soul Scryer, and then he pops up out of the Ether Sea and he puts one down for your Namarti. But maybe there's some confusion, or maybe about because the Gloomtide shipwreck used to give a ward to all Idnith models, and now it doesn't. So maybe this person's been playing for a while, or maybe they're just using it as like a tech piece to stick somewhere, because his whole army flies except for his heroes. So you can just stick it somewhere in the battlefield that's kind of inconvenient for them, maybe. And then I don't know, to be honest. I looked at, I've got 2 Gloomtide shipwrecks, but I was just ugh, this thing, I hate it so much now. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, Beefy. Second shipwreck is for just blocking lanes of traffic, because that's all it's ever been good for, frankly. But yeah, oh sorry, I didn't realize John said that as well. But yeah. Ludivicus says, with all the shaman of the chilled lands out there, I wouldn't want to be that Kronspine. You make a great point, actually. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. I guess but what's interesting though is he doesn't have the grand strategy of protect your, I was thinking if you have 2 Gloomtide shipwrecks, you could even make that your grand strategy is like you would have to cover both of them or demolish both of them, right? But he doesn't have that. He has spellcasting savant, which is really interesting because like if he goes up against like Lord Croak or something, the Tidecaster dies, right? Or maybe not, because you can't see them unless they're the closest unit or something.
Only for ranged attacks.
Is it say
only for shooting
ranged attacks? I always forget.
Yeah, I know for sure because Eric asked this question last night and I verified.
Oh, okay.
It's for ranged attacks, you can only see the closest unit.
Okay. So yeah, basically it's not going to take much and then they just get demolished off the board. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. There are not many good artifacts for Deepkin Tidecaster. I think this is probably one of those lists where it's like it's their pet list. They want to run 9 sharks, and when you run 9 sharks and a Leviathan, you don't get many heroes. But the Leviathan's interesting because it will give the sharks for effectively a 3-up save in a bubble of 15 inches radius, right? So yeah, it's pretty good.
Two things to note about this list would be like when you're playing against, or 3 things actually. Number 1,
4 things. No, never mind.
Yeah, the Bloodthirsty Shivers are all individual units, so if they all attack, literally 1 shark gets it.
Yep.
All at defense as well. The Leviathan only gives +1 to hit to Namarti units, so it's not going to apply to the sharks.
That's true.
And then the Shipwrecks, as Rob said earlier, do nothing for the sharks because it only applies to units that don't have a mount.
And and they have to have a certain amount of wounds or less, so it doesn't even apply to the heroes.
Oh.
Yeah. It's so bad. Like I wasn't joking when I said it's the worst terrain piece. I think, my reaction and everyone else's reaction is probably right. They're going to use it to mess with people. Probably because they painted 2 back when you could have 2 from the get-go and they want to use them, and all the power to them. I mean, it's very mobile, this list though. Like you've got 9 sharks moving 14 inches, shooting 24 inches. They're all going to count as 2 on objectives. They're very, they're quite hitty, exploding 6s across the board. I don't see sharks surviving this next battle scroll, but we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I have 6 sharks, so yeah. Although they've done terribly so far because I can't roll 6s. Anyway. Wheel of Fish finally came true.
That's true.
So
there we go.
Wheel.
What do we call it next? Wheel of, what am I hoping for? Wheel of Meat.
Dinosaurs.
Oh, Wheel of Dinosaurs. Yes. Yeah. Wheel of Dinosaurs.
We haven't had any Seraphon lists.
Yeah.
Dustin Chesmer.
Dustin Hoffman. Beast of Chaos.
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, cool. I was like, Gits and Guts. Like, what army is that? Like, that's... I just didn't see it was team name. Awesome. Okay. Would you like to take us through some Beasts of Chaos?
I originally felt confident about running through this list until I saw that it was not Dark Walkers and not the standard. I was like, oh, are there no Bulgors?
Isn't All Herd the one where you get the D3 plus 3 guys back on all your basic you-know-whats?
Just like that.
My sharks are real fat goldfish. That's a cool paint scheme idea that I did not think of, Ludivicus. Yeah.
All Herd. At the end of the Battle Shock phase, you can return D3 plus 3 slain models to each friendly All Herd, Gore Herd, All Herd Ungors, and All Herd Ungor Raiders unit on the battlefield. So, pretty good recursion. D3 plus 3 is quite a lot.
Very
and it's
good.
the Battle Shock phase, every Battle Shock phase.
Yeah.
So,
it's basically Clan Rats, but like way better.
Yeah. He's got Protect the Herdstone. Don't pee on his Herdstone, and he'll get 3 victory points.
That means
Bloodthirsty, which is the reroll the charges. It's got a Beast Lord, 2 Great Bray Shamans. I honestly don't know what these spells do.
I don't know either, and I don't have the book.
He's got a block of 10 Gores, and then
yes.
Dang it! Why couldn't you have run the same list everyone else does? Now we have to look stuff up. Ungor Raiders.
Those are the shooty guys.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what size they are.
20.
So there's 20 of them there, yeah. And then regular Ungors, do they come in a block of 20? No, it's 10. So basically, you've got 10 Gors, 20 Raiders, 10 Ungors, a Cygor.
Yep.
Which is the boulder throwing one, I think.
Yep. The big guy.
Yep. It's got
a
Gorgon.
Gorgon, which is pretty dope.
Yeah,
I don't know what they do now. Like I knew what I think I knew what they did in AOS 2. I don't even want to guess now.
Yeah. This list has teeth in that I would have no idea what literally anything in it does.
Yeah.
When I show up to the game, I'm like,
it's so true.
I wish I could speak more to this, but honestly, for the sake of time.
Yeah, fair enough. Centaurs, though, 340 points worth of Centaurs, and a Beast of Chaos Zangor Enlightened on discs of Zeech. That'll be a unit of 6, so they can get in there and basically turn off your command abilities when you're nearby in the combat phase. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Warlord, and that's it. They do not care about drops, because they're probably not going to be on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Cool list, Dustin. Sorry we couldn't be more, more knowledgeable about it, but
I really appreciate that. You're running something different. That's super cool.
I think it's really cool as well. Main hammer is the Enlightened. Yeah, and maybe the Centaurs. I don't know, John. Gors give strike last. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Wheel of Velociraptors. Yes.
What's the name?
Derek Perham. I literally was waiting that whole time.
Derek?
Yeah.
E-E-R?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm not finding any Derek.
Oh, it's 2 R's. 2 R's.
Derek Perham.
Seraphon!
Oh, Seraphon.
What is up? What is up, y'all? Okay. So,
Starborn.
To the surprise of no one, it's Starborn. I am disappointed in you, Derek, but I get it. I understand. Dracothian's Tail is the deep striking one. Lord Croak, because obvious, he's going to blast your butt off with the spells and the Jello pudding pops. Saurus Astrobearer gives the ward and the plus to cast. Starmaster, again, this is kind of all rote stuff, but command trait, Lord of Celestial Resonance, Space Folder Staff, and Comet's Call, all the stuff you're normally going to see. Saurus Guard to Bodyguard, Croak, and the Slan. Saurus Warriors, which is a little different, so I'll give you that. It's 1 pack of 10, 1 pack of Skinks, and the Stegodon. That's interesting. Agrodon Lancers. This is actually taking a wild turn. Yeah, and Hunters of Huanchi. I like Hunters of Huanchi, especially with the Starstone Bullets, because they're so cheap and they can just kind of deep strike in and mess with you. Not sure about the Agrodon Lancers. I guess he's thinking he needs a punch, but they don't really give a punch in anything. Like, they're just never good, basically. So, yeah, I mean, this is really interesting. The Stegodon is an interesting tech piece because it does provide you with the ability to get a battle tactic, because you can just send it on to objectives. But yeah, I think this is like a list where someone wanted to have the spell casting and the mortal wound output, but they also wanted to have some fun pet units with cool velociraptors and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty neat.
Yeah.
One note is that it doesn't have any Blizzard or Hoarfrost, which is a little bit rough. I've said something kind of harsh in the past, which is I think that Seraphon is being carried by Blizzard at the moment.
Right.
And I think that not only... So this list doesn't have Blizzard, but it also doesn't have an ability to shut off wards. That's going to be pretty painful.
Yep.
Because they're not really punishing someone for like charging into their castle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, sure, you have Croak's mortal wound bombs, but that's really about it,
and
right? There's no Blizzard.
There isn't a lot of bodies here either to protect people from getting in. Like, this is a fun list, to be fair.
It's definitely fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate what it is. The Agrodons, like, are such cool models that I would be hard pressed not to bring them in every list that I brought too. But
Totally.
yeah,
I personally, if I were this person, I would have probably run Coalesced and just brought Croak or some other pet unit. You know what I mean, to make it more fun, or to do other things. But hey, like, all the power to them. I wish them. I absolutely wish them luck because they're doing something different. But yeah, you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to drag down the Starborn win rates because eventually we're going to separate Starborn and Coalesced, which need more separation than the different Auric Warclan factions, frankly. But moving right along. Okay, now what's the wheel made out of? Wheel of Heretics?
Wheel of Blood.
Wheel of Blood. Okay.
Yep.
Wheel of Bloody
Blood?
Heretics. Blood? With a question mark? Still spinning.
Blood, 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 blood.
Yay! John Paul Loria. There's a hyphen in between Jean and Paul. He sounds like he's from Quebec.
Iron Jaws.
Oh, cool. Wow.
Jean-Jacques Francois Jacques.
That's what I was thinking of. Oh, apparently when I put
Blaze,
in...
and you will do the colors.
Did I misspell it?
John.
Yeah. You got it?
Dash. Yeah, I got it. Dash
Okay.
P. Honestly, just search up Loria. Loria.
Oh, there he goes. I must have put the yeah, I don't know.
Workman's Iron Jaws. Iron Suns, which... what does Iron Suns do again? Is that the one where you can pile in after? No, it's not. That's Blood something.
Yeah, it's Blood Tooths. Yeah. Iron Jaws is the yellow guys. Is it?
Iron Suns are...
Oh,
You
actually,
can use this command ability at the... Oh, sorry. Iron Suns...
should I do have it
Yeah,
unlocked because I have
something.
KB in my... Destruction, and it is Iron Jaws, and it is...
Oh, it gives you a command ability. I was right.
Oh, it
Sorry.
gives you a command. What
At
is-
the end of the enemy charge phase,
Mhm.
the unit that receives this command must be a friendly Iron Suns unit that is within 12 inches of an enemy unit and more than 3 inches from all enemy units that Iron Suns unit can attempt to charge.
Okay.
So you get counter charge. And because he's got a Mega Boss on Law Crusher, you could issue it 3 times if you wanted to, which is pretty spicy. He's got Gordrak, which is the named character in Maw Crusher, or Mega Boss on Maw Crusher.
This guy is
gets on a
awesome.
4-up.
Immediately, I just want to say he's awesome because he took Gordrak.
He is awesome because he took Gordrak. That's true. But in my opinion, Gordrak is a worse version of a Mega Boss on Maw Crusher.
regular Mega Boss on Maw Crusher. That is
Because he's got a
correct.
4-up save, which
Yes,
is
I know.
really, really, really bad.
Yep, that's true.
But, both Gordrak and the Mega Boss on Maw Crusher are going to be super hitty.
Yep.
The Mega Boss on Maw Crusher, as I said before, is going to be able to issue a command 3 times per phase.
Yep.
While spending 1 command point, which is pretty nice.
Yep.
Another Mega Boss on Maw Crusher. Sorry, I just saw that as well. So,
What an
you've got
animal! Holy shit!
you've got 3 cabbages on the table.
Yeah.
Basically, this man is serving you dinner, and it's gonna kill you.
Yeah, it's a terrible dinner because it's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And it's cabbage.
He's got an Auric War Chanter with Arcane Tome for a cast and Fix and Beat for a heal. So he's only going to be able to give 1 thing plus 1 damage, which is still pretty good. He's got a Orc Weird Knob Shaman with Hoarfrost, so he has no source of Blizzard, which is going to be a little bit rough for him.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
He's got 1 unit of 5 Brutes,
Yep. All right.
another unit of 5 Brutes, a third unit of 5 Brutes, and then that's the whole list, basically.
Wow.
3 Cabbages, 15 Brutes, a Weird Knob Shaman, and a War Chanter.
Jean-Paul, our hats.
Chef kiss.
Yeah.
My cabbages are exquisite.
Exactly. He just needs a little bit of mayonnaise on there, and it's like a Japanese salad, man. Very good.
God.
Yeah.
Yep. I like it.
A little bit of tuna.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
This list is awesome. Who doesn't love a good cabbage roll feast? Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Okay. Okay. What's the wheel made out of? Are we still going with blood?
We're going with blood until we get
Okay.
corn.
Wheel of blood sausage. Okay, Garrett Lilly, Lilley.
Stormcast Eternals.
Nice. Okay.
This is a short list.
Wheel of lightning.
Wheel of Lightning, yeah.
Ionis Cryptborn. Love to see it. Yeah. Knight Incantor, Master of Magic, Artifact of Power, Mirror Shield, so you can't see them. Battle Line, Fulminators. That's 2 units of 3, right?
I think so.
I think.
Honestly, like a Stormcast player could walk up to me and say anything about their list. I'd be like, sure, man.
That's fair.
Sounds good. It's such a big book that I haven't had the time to like really learn it. So.
And it hasn't been super competitive. Although I guess the best player in the tournament is theoretically is a Stormcast player apparently, or at least he is here. The guy who had 91% or whatever the percentage was. He had like the top percentage.
I thought that was it was Big Wall, I thought.
Oh right, you're right. Sorry, the second best, yeah, or the second highest win rate of anyone is currently playing in this tournament. Yeah, the new FEC book is not legal, John, almost anywhere because it hasn't come out officially yet. So yeah, too bad, so sad, but it should be interesting when it does come out. Yeah. So yeah, and then we got 2 units of Vindicators, rather, Vigilers, Stormstrike Chariot, and Domitin's Storm Coven. I don't know. I have no idea what that is. I'm guessing it's a warband. 1945 points. Man, he's going to get a triumph every time. Like, I don't think we've seen a list that's below 1950 so far. Or that's 1950. Or we have seen on 1950, actually. I think it was the Gitz one. Let's find out what Storm... What was it again? Storm Coven?
Storm Coven.
Oh, I see. Right. I skipped the first one.
Gather the Aether at the start of each battle round if this unit is on the battlefield after determining who has the first turn. But before the first turn begins, you can pick 1 large battlefield quarter. That becomes the Aether charged until the end of the battle round. And then add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this unit while it's wholly within an Aether charged battlefield quarter. And then it's 2 cast, 2 unbind. This unit cannot attempt to cast this spell unless it's wholly within an Aether charge. Okay. Interesting.
That's crazy. And they're 4 wounds each. They're basically like 4 or 3 mini heroes. And they're rocking a 3-up save, 8 bravery. Yeah. That's really different. Thank you, Bob. Yeah. It is the Underworlds, guys. It's the one that came with the Zeech warband, right, Bahamut? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I remember because I love the look of the Zeech warband, but it's not. Its war scrolls aren't super good. Yeah, this is interesting. I too don't know enough about Stormcast. So the Fulminators are a very heavy hammer.
Yep, the Fulminators are going to be dropping in. With each one, they're basically going to be doing D3 mortals on a 4-up to something. And then the big thing is that they've got 5 attacks each with their main glaive. And then if they make a charge, instead of being damage 1, they're damage 3. So, like, the big thing to shut these guys off is going to be don't let them charge you, essentially.
Right.
It's easier said than done, of course.
For sure.
But doesn't look like they have any pluses to charge. So I think they have to hot roll a 9 if they're deep striking in and charging you.
Right.
I might be wrong about that. Maybe someone...
They might have a banner or something, because that's sort of been the thing for the edition, is if you have a banner +1 to charge, right?
It doesn't seem like it. And a lot of Stormcast tends to not be the case. But even still, like a good screen, unfortunately, kind of shuts them down too, right?
Right. Totally.
Just keep that damage.
They do have a shooting attack as well, but...
That's the Storm Blast, the mortal wounds on a 4-up. That'll...
Oh, when they charge?
No, that's...
Oh, okay.
So their shooting attack is Storm Blast.
Right.
They have 1 attack each,
Right.
and there'll be 4 of them in this unit.
I must have
And
misheard you or something because I thought you were talking about on the charge.
oh no. Yeah, just on a 4-up, it's D3 mortal wounds. So
And is it a range of 12?
yep.
Okay.
So they can do it when they deep strike in.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty good. And now with the new coherency rules, it's, not so bad.
I mean, it's a unit of 4. It wouldn't have mattered either way. So.
Oh, right. They're in 2s. I always forget.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're like 6 wounds each?
6 wounds on a 3-up.
Right.
And then they have 5 attacks each on their glaives, which could be 3 damage flat. So that could be 20 attacks, 3 damage flat. Run 2. Pretty spicy. Yeah, like if they hit something, it's gonna hurt.
It's gonna
delete whatever it hits
right.
for sure.
Yeah.
But that's only when they're on the charge. So if you charge them, the counter punch is going to be really not that bad.
No.
And yeah, cool list.
Very cool. Okay. Wheel. I'm going to change. You say Wheel of Blood. What am I going to say? What's something I want to see? You know what we haven't seen is a Gits list. So I'm going to say Wheel of Mushrooms.
We've definitely never seen a Gits list this stream yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. For Ledivicus, he deserves at least one Gits list. Watch it be a Gits list too. Cody Siverstone. Cody.
What's the first name?
Cody.
Oh, Cody.
Yeah. Cody.
Blades of Corn.
Nice.
Wheel of Blood.
I knew we couldn't say like Wheel of Blood like out loud, or it just would have kept going. We never would have got it. So that was for the people at home. Okay.
That is fair. So he's running Corn. He's running Skullfiend Tribe. He's given us some notes here, which is very handy. Actually,
that's so nice. What the crap?
So Skullfiend Tribe is whenever you get an unmodified 8+ to charge, it gives fight first for the mortals, that's basically going to apply to your Blood Reapers. Well, it won't matter for them because they suck. The Skull Reapers Skull Reapers and Blood Warriors are the 2 things that are basically going to benefit from this.
Yeah.
Mostly, and you might be thinking like an unmodified 8 is tough. As we mentioned with Fabian's list, the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury is going to be issuing out a 3d6 charge once per charge phase.
Right.
So it's actually, on average, going to happen.
Right.
With whatever decides to charge. Fight first is quite good. Yeah, it's very solid. And then if they roll hot for their other charges, they can be fighting first with other stuff too. So they've got a Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, like I said. They're going to be no wards within 3 inches. Thank you for the notes. Bloodbind, Killer Instinct, which is the hero phase move. Thank you for the notes again. Slaughter Priest, which is going to be doing Blood Sack, which is just going to be like
that's the thing that happens on America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yep, exactly. Blood Sack.
Yep.
It's giving him just more Blood Tithe. Really, what this list wants to do is just like clog you up with Blood Reavers and Blood Warriors, because Blood Warriors are going to be dealing mortal wounds. They get 3 murder rolls back against you, I think, whenever they die.
Oh, okay.
And they're on like a 3-up save, so that's a pretty hefty anvil, actually. Blood Warriors don't really do a lot like offensively, but the Skull Reapers sure do. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Leading Icon, which I think just affects bravery, and it's just a big invocation footprint. It's about this big, which is definitely helpful for those at home.
Right.
And a lot of the time, it's not even really used for its ability, but more so just as like a screen. Because if you place it like right in the front of a whole unit, like all of a sudden I can't end my movement there. It's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Rumgor Ritualist. So they don't have any wizards, but he does have a Nullstone icon for the infinite unbinds. And yeah, just lots of movement shenanigans, and those those Skull Reapers are going to come slap you.
I like it. Also, if you're watching and we talked about all those different corn lists, Killer Instinct combo breaker. In case you were watching for that. Yes, you. What else we got? Okay, what are we hoping for now? We need something different, Carson.
Wheel of Bones.
Wheel of Bones. Okay, so does that specifically mean Ossiarch?
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Wheel of Bones. Teresa Wagner.
I already know that. That's she's a
Oh yeah,
Boulder player.
right. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah. She was mentioned before in chat.
She was,
She's
yeah.
like having a pretty similar list to one that we've already reviewed.
It's true.
But I can definitely go down it again.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Just go through it, reasonably quick, I guess.
Yep.
Cool.
Teresa Wagner. Boulderhead, which is +2 wounds on all your monsters and also more mount traits. We've got a Huskardan Thundertusk, which we saw before. Voice of the Avalanche, which is the board-wide thing. Blood Vulture, 5-up ward with Rhymefrost Hive.
Which one's Rhymefrost Hide? Is that the 5-up ward?
Yep.
Okay.
Hand carved Nullstone Icon for the Infinite Unbinds. Huskardan Stonehorn, Blood Vulture again, Seed of Elfger again. Rockman Elder for -1 to wound.
Right.
3. I think this is the exact same list, actually. I think this other person probably they either came to the same conclusion or just used her list, because I know she's run this before at other events.
That's what someone was saying in the chat. I'm sorry, I can't remember. Was it Beefy?
I think so.
I want to say it was Beefy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Ledivicus, I see you, and I will correct. Thank you.
This is going to be throwing up 6 dice on 2-ups to do mortal wounds in the shooting phase. Every shooting phase, it's going to be a lot of impact mortals, lots of beef, lots of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like it. It's dope. What up, Joker? Thanks for joining us. Hoss. It's funny you say that. I've been listening to the Dresden Files again. So whenever he sees Ebenezer, he says, Ebenezer always calls him Hoss. Ledivicus, Wheel of Cheese. Yes. I think we might have already seen the only Skaven list in here, but it would be pretty awesome to get another one. Matthew Jones.
There's 5 Skaven lists.
Oh, is there? Cool.
What was the name? Sorry?
Matthew Jones with 2 T's in the Matthew.
Matthew Jones, Maggot Kin of Nurgle.
Oh, nice.
That's new.
Yeah, we haven't done that in any which way, so that's dope.
And surprisingly, no Glutkin.
No, but there is Blow Brotspawn, which is the more common choice according to the graph. But I think I actually like the model. I know it has some gaps around the arms where the arms go in, but other than that, I think it's an awesome model. Yeah.
Yeah. Befouling Host, is that the extra tree one? I don't know. I can't remember. And then 10 the Garden. I'm not sure what that grand strategy is.
I think that might be the terrain one, but I don't have this book. I don't have the things. He's got all 3 of those named characters though on the giant, whatever they're called.
Yep.
Demon thingy.
I wish I remembered what these did.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess I can pull it up here. Let's see here. We got Maggot Kin of Nurgle, and then I'm just gonna, I don't know. I'll see if the internet might have something, it can tell me.
Nah. Going further down the list, it's got a Chaos Sorcerer Lord with Blizzard, which is kind of interesting. I wonder if the Chaos Sorcerer Lord can buff Nurgle units. Let me just check.
That would seemingly make sense, but then they wouldn't be able to get. Oh, I see, because he can just get a regular.
Nope,
spell.
can't.
Right.
It's mortal, slaves to darkness. However, that is a spoiler for something further down the list. If you look, there are 10 chosen.
Whoa! Jeez.
Where it can buff them, so it can give them +1 to hit and wound, which is pretty nice. So that Chaos Sorcerer Lord is there basically exclusively to buff those guys.
Right.
So this is kind of interesting. Usually when you see a Nurgle list, it's very attrition based. It's actually not very offensive. It's going to get in your face and it's going to pin you and then just kind of chew you to death with a whole bunch of mortals from disease. But 10 chosen obviously is definitely going to kill pretty much whatever it goes into, because they're going to be doing 6s to hit or mortal wounds in addition. They've got I think 3 attacks each, so it's 30 attacks, 3 threes, -1, 2 damage each, and then they can fight twice, once per battle. So they're going to be pretty spicy, and then if they can get that +1 to hit and wound off with the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, that's going to hurt pretty bad. The only thing is that he's not starting with a Sloppy Bile Piper, which means that the Plague Bearer tech that a lot of people see, he can summon it in, for sure. But the Plague Bearer tech is usually you summon in a Sloppy Bile Piper within 14 inches of the Plague Bearers. Those Plague Bearers, you just can't pile into them. Which is pretty rough. It really tar pits some units.
It's a really good tech piece. By the way, you were right. Befouling Host is the extra tree, and I was right. Tend the Garden is the grand strategy that has to do with trees.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, this is a neat list.
It is. I like it, and I just like seeing a variety of lists. So even if there are like a bunch of other Nurgle lists. I think Nurgle is like one of those ones that's always weirdly popular. That always surprises me how popular it is, you know? But,
yeah.
Okay. Wheel of Rats?
Wheel of Rats or Bones? Rats or Bones?
Rats or Bones. I'll take either. Okay. Alice Lorette. So we got Alice.
Bones.
Is it?
Yep.
Nice. What? That's so awesome.
From Goonhammer as well.
Invoked.
Neat. Yeah.
No Myriad.
No Myriad.
Yeah.
Spellcasting Savant. It's got Catacross. It's got a Bomb Shaper, a Soul Mason, which is the general. It's got Dark Acolyte, which means the first cast or spell that casts cannot be unbound.
Right.
Which is very good for getting like turn 1 magical dominance. You can't really deny them that. It's got 5 Death Riders. It's got a group of 6 Immortus Guard. It's got a group of 10 Mortek Guard, and then a group of 4 Morghasts. So it's kind of spread across the board.
Yeah.
It doesn't have Arc in the Black, which would be buffing.
Which is
some
interesting.
Of this stuff pretty well.
Because Arcan is Null Myriad and Catacross is not. So Catacross does not get the spell ignore thing. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, another thing as well that's going to be a little bit tough is that the Null Myriad, it is a bubble from Null Myriad Heroes, which I think it's like 12 inches or something. Let me take a look at that.
I couldn't tell you what the range is.
And it's definitely wholly within for... So Null Myriad is wholly within 9 inches of any friendly Null Myriad Mortisans or a friendly Arcan on a 2-up. Ignore the effects of that spell. So basically they have to keep their whole army within 9 inches of either the Soul Mason or the Bone Shaper.
Right.
Which means those Morghasts are probably going to leave that bubble pretty quick.
Right.
I'd wager that those Death Riders probably are too. And so this list is going to struggle a little bit with being like a really self-enclosed castle that's not going to... Any missiles it sends out are going to be vulnerable to any spell damage.
Right.
So that's the only like weakness I can see with it, but it's definitely got like a lot of teeth. It's very reminiscent of like the early Null Myriad list that we were seeing before, and it's certainly going to shut down a lot of like magic armies, I think. So
for sure. And I guess like the point too is that like if you're not a magic, and by the way, it has to be a Null Myriad like unit, so it's not like the Mortison Bone Shaper can give the spell shrug to Catacross either, right? Catacross just doesn't get that because he's faction locked. But it's I think I still think it's a good list because like if you go against a spellcaster, you cast a lot more, and then you're rocking away. But if you're Khorne, you're like, well, I don't care anyway because you're not casting spells. So it's sort of having its cake and eating it too. I'm interested in it for sure. But yeah.
Yeah. Cool list.
Okay. Well, what are you on to now? If it's not Wheel of Bones anymore.
Wheel of Diapers.
We already had Nurgle. Come on.
Fire Slayers.
Fire Slayers. Wheel of Lava! And I'm going for cheese. Rats. Give me rats and cheese. Warpstone. Can you guys hear the applause that it does on the website, by the way? How many anti-magic sub-factions are in for OBR and Khorne? That's a good question. Thank you, Ludivicus, for cheering along. Joshua Quest, by the way.
Okay.
It's going to come
24.
up. It was going to come up before you even got to see it.
Sylvaneth.
Sylvaneth, cool. Okay. We haven't seen any of that so far, so that's fun.
Ludovic, beefy, I would say like probably 30 something.
Wow.
Because there's 24 Khorne, and I'm just guessing at the
Fair.
OBR. How many OBR are there? Ossiarch, 22 Ossiarch. Being generous, half of them are null myriad. So yeah, like
that's being
30,
conservative. 40? I think like more of them are right.
I've seen some of them run like Petrifex Elite. Some of them run, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you guys can hear that. That does make it better. So we got Heartwood. So the Kurnoth Hunters are Battle Line, Spellcasting Savant, Bloodthirsty, Triumph, Season of War, the Reaping. What is the Reaping? I can't come up with it. Oh, man, I'm going to have to look that up. That's not one that I was looking at. Unless it's the one where that extends the bubble on your trees. I want to say it's not, though. Order, Sylvaneth.
3-inch to the range
within
which you can pick
It is.
friendly Sylvaneth units.
Oh.
This is a power from the Woodland Depths battle traits.
Yeah. No, that's the one that Eric really likes, actually, because it just makes it so that it's really hard to deny them their teleports and strike and fade and whatnot. So that's pretty dope. General is a branch witch with spell singer, artifact of power, seed of rebirth. Good lord, another like. I think is that the extra set of trees? I can't remember now. I'll look it up in a second. The seed of rebirth artifact.
The first time the bear is slain before removing them from play.
Oh.
Nice. On one, the bear is slain. On a 2-up, they're not slain. They heal up D3 mortal or D3 wounds.
That's actually pretty dope.
Yep.
Interesting. Not what I would pick, but like
it helps for spellcasting Savant for sure.
It does, but I really like what's it called? The gem, Vespral Gem, because it's just like you get a battle tactic like once per game, you get it at least. Yeah. Anyway, Drycha, Hamadrath for, she just got some mortal wound pooping out action. And then we got 2 units of tree revs, 1 unit of dryads, and 0 Kurnoth Hunters. Wait, what?
That was surprising to me too. You can summon in Kurnoth Hunters with Ilariel once per game, but it's only 3. So it's a little confusing.
I looked right past Ilariel and I was like, where on earth are all these points?
There's also a lot of there's a big chunk of Gossamer archers.
Yeah, there's a unit of 10 Gossamer archers. So that's interesting. I mean, it's not all Heartwood does. They pick 3 units and you get +1 to hit. So that helps the Gossamids. It helps other stuff, I guess, Drycha and whatnot. This is really different. I'll give them that. Yeah, cool, man. A lot of named characters. I'm not sure about that, but and then I don't see any battalions, which is interesting. I feel like, well, I guess you can't get any. How many wounds is Drycha? She's over 10, right?
She's 10.
She's 10, yeah. So you couldn't put her in a warlord anyway. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Yeah, interesting. So we got Wheel of Splinters is done. What are you again? Wheel of.
I was just Wheel of Bones, but oh no, Wheel of Magma.
Wheel of Magma. Okay, Wheel of Magma and cheese. Oh, I'm thinking of the acorn, right. Sean Upchurch. SEAN. Slaves of Darkness.
Slaves of Darkness.
This one's all me. Just kidding. It's definitely you.
Knights of the Empty Throne. Overshadow, which is the battle line You
What are
can't
Knights of
have
the
your
Empty
battle
Throne,
line.
by the way?
Sorry,
What are Knights of the Empty Throne?
they're the Vanguard and Chaos Knights can run in charge.
Oh, yeah, this is the one that
Speedy,
Andy's-
speedy.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because there are 15 Vanguard in this list. It is all Vanguard.
Gross.
It's got a Slaves to Darkness Demon Prince, which what's it called? Slaves to Darkness Demon Prince command trait not to be denied. I don't even remember what that does. It must be Demon Prince specific, but
That's fair. Ladificus, what blew your mind, by the way? Was it that you could hear the sound effects? I actually don't know.
not to be denied is in each hero phase, once you have carried out a heroic action, if you did not carry out the heroic action with this general,
Oh.
you can carry out an additional heroic action with this general. The heroic action carried out with this general, God, that's wordy, cannot
Yeah.
be the same as the other heroic action. So basically, you get a second heroic action.
That's
your
kind of
general-
cool because you could get like a CP when you're healing someone, or do the 3d6 cast when you're whatever. I don't know. Yeah,
Yep.
that's dope.
And you got 2 Chaos Sorcerer Lords. One has Hoarfrost, one has Binding Damnation for the battle tactic. They're both marked as Slanesh. I'm not sure why that is.
Does it make them speedier?
Gives them +1 to run in charge, but
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
They're going to be, one has Hoarfrost, which is going to be buffing something. One of them will be probably casting the
Oh.
Demonic Power for +1 to hit and wound. And then, 15 Vanguard with ensorcelled weapons.
My God. That's an expensive ass list, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, what is that? 5 times? That's like $130 Canadian or something. So,
Yeah, per 3.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. 2 Gorby's Chariots, which I think are just doing mortal wounds on the charge or something.
It's a decent screen. They're pretty fast. You can kind of just, For
Yeah, this
100
lister
points.
wants to get in your face.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
like
smack
it.
you. Alpha Strike to the extreme.
Battle Regiment. So they are a choosing 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Wow. Cool, man.
Cool.
Wheel. So maybe we'll do 2 more.
Yeah, let's do 2 more.
Okay, 2 more. So Wheel of Rats and Lava. By the way, thanks for everyone for joining us. Let us know what your favorite list is in the comments below if you're not watching us live. And if you're watching us live, just tell us what you think of everything, because that's why we like it when you join us and talk and things. Christian Palmert. Christian Palmer.
Ipkin,
Nice.
part of Above Average Generals. Yay.
Oh, wait. What was it again? Palmert. Oh, there's another Deepkin player. Oh, no, it was Christian. That's what it was. I started typing it, and then I thought I was... Okay, here we go. I like the name of their group, by the way. Above Average Generals is very funny. Oh, more fans. So we got a lot of recursion here. Grand Strategy Overshadow. I don't know what that is. Inspired...
Overshadow is...
Yeah.
Overshadow is you can't have all of your battle line dead, and you have to kill all of your opponent's battle line.
Oh, okay. That's actually kind of a funky one for this list, because they're going to have a lot of Namarti, obviously. Soul Render for bringing guys back. Tidecaster with Merciless Blizzard, which I actually really like here. And one Achillean King to just go in there and just be speedy and just slap the crap out of stuff. Unstoppable Fury, rather. Mount Trade Void Chill Darkness for the -1 to hit in a bubble around him. 20 Namarti Reavers, which is cool. 30 Thralls. Okay, yeah. I thought they were over. I thought they had used too many reinforcement points for a second. So 20 Reavers, 30 Thralls, 20 Reavers, 10 Reavers. So that's a lot of shooting. Like, that's just a lot of shooting. I really like it. The Reavers move quite far at 8 inches. The Leviathan's giving them +1 to hit, and +1 to their save, which they really need, because they're not cheap. Like at 160 points for 10 guys on a 5-up with 1 wound, it can be rough. But with the Leviathan, it helps a lot. Only one Soul Render rather to get that the extra recursion from Morphan. But I still think it's interesting. Glue Time Shipwreck, Andorian Acolytes, and a Battle Reg. Oh, because the Arcane Tome was on the Soul Render. Duh. Yeah, because the Isharan really just don't have as I can't remember. It was either Ludivicus or Beefy pointed out, or maybe it was Bahamut. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Someone pointed out that there really aren't great artifacts on the Isharan. So, yeah. And the reason that they don't take the command trait on the Isharan is because that's what makes the Achillean King so slappy is the command trait specifically, and without it, he's not frankly worth it actually. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a cool
kind
list.
of a terrifying list.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually hope I don't get matched into this list
Because of the shooting,
like,
you know.
well, it's definitely a glass hammer,
Yeah,
or a glass cannon,
very
but
much
like,
so. I mean,
it's still,
yeah, it's Deacon.
it's 100 shots.
Yeah.
And their unleash hell is also pretty good.
It's actually really good because they get +1 to hit if you're within 9. So when you charge into them, they're automatically +1 to hit. So it negates the whole -1 you are supposed to take from Unleash Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty reliable, and it's -1 rend, and it's just a butt ton of shots, you know. So
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
it.
that's pretty scary. That's a lot of bodies.
It's a lot of bodies. They're very fragile, and they don't have the best bravery, but again, yeah, I agree. You know, yeah, if you can spread out a lot of wounds around, then they'll take battle shock, and it'll really hurt them. But yeah, okay, the last one, Carson, the last one. Wheel of something.
Ba-ba-ba-dum.
Oh, you stopped. Fine.
Just like
Isaiah
that. Ba-ba-da.
Champlin.
Who? What's his
Isaiah
name?
Champlin. Ossiarch Bone Reapers. And he's from the Groovy Gladiators.
Oh God.
What?
It's not Foreman. Pick a different name.
Yeah, pick a different name.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah. Like, did you really have to hurt our eyes that badly on the last one? Wheel of something other than that, please. Wheel of format. I don't care what it is.
Wheel of properly formatted list.
Cameron Halford. Camaron.
Big Wah.
Nice. Big wah.
Got the grand strat that they always take. It's got Gobsprack. It's got a War Dog Prophet. It's got a Weird Knob Shaman with the Great Big Green Hand of Gork. The War Dog Prophet is the general, which is also known as Shaman of the Chilled Lands, which is kind of interesting.
It is interesting. I mean, I guess like the shooting attack has nothing to do with them. You know.
Hold on a sec.
That's a lot of mortal wounds, though. Hey, like if you get Blizzard off and then you start laser blasting them with your eyes, you're just like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for charging you.
You can't do both. It specifically says instead of attempting to dispel an end the spell or cast any spells with this unit in that phase, so you can't do both.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You have to pick either the mask or the blizzard. So
why wouldn't you put that on the Weird Knob Shaman then?
Maybe he didn't want the Weird Knob Shaman to be his general. But yeah, that's odd.
Oh well, yeah. I don't know. I don't get it, but
not sure. We've got 2 War Chanters, both with Fix and Beat for heals. Yep. We've got a Mega Boss on Maw Crusher, which has got Destroyer, so it'll be +3 damage or something crazy on one of its weapons once per game. It's got Fasten, which makes it extremely fast, and it's going to be triple issuing commands, as I said before. Then we've got 3 units of 5 Brutes. We've got a unit of 6 Gore Gruntas, the pigs.
Yep.
And a Gravetide, which is kind of interesting.
Andorian Acolytes, Warlord, and Iron Jaw's Fist, 3 battalions. So all the drops, but yeah, It's interesting, yeah. And Leviticus said they can't cast and stare in the same turn. Yeah, I didn't know that, so I don't get it. Yeah, I don't understand. Maybe it's because this is just a crazy theory. And if you're watching this, I forgot your name, Cameron, I think it was. If you're watching this in the future, Cameron, maybe it's because people go for the Wargog Prophet, right? And then it's like, if you kill them, then you might be able to get a battle tactic, because stuff that it's pretty easy to kill the Wargog Prophet. So like it might be more likely that they have a crappy unit take them out, and then you can get the battle tactic where you kill the unit that killed your general. That's just a wild guess. Personally, I would still take the the Shaman of the Chilled Lands on the other guy, but it's interesting for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
You want to see Nara RT list go into Tom's zombies. Which one's the RT list? Is that like someone's name? Nara.
I can't find an RT or a Nara.
Yeah, I can't either. But yeah, anyway, that was fun. Thanks to everyone for joining us. That was a little bit longer than usual. Kind of longer than we were. Definitely longer than we were thinking. Best of luck to everyone who's going. I know Beefy's going. Obviously, we reviewed his list, but I knew that beforehand. Best of luck to Carson and all our friends from Saga of Dice that are going down there. Namarty. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, going into those zombies. Oh, that's so true. Yeah, that would just blender that stuff.
That's true, actually. That'd be
although
pretty
you
funny
don't send your thralls.
The table. Sorry?
You don't send your thralls into the zombies.
No.
They die. And how? Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because this one block of 30 is just like dumping all of its attacks at once. And it can spread out the... I know it's probably not a great idea,
I mean,
but like
the
finish
thralls
it
will
off,
blender them because they get an extra attack against models with 1 or 2 wounds. But yeah. But the Reavers are definitely where it's at. You can pick off the corpse cart. You can pick off all the zombies. Yeah, I like it. Thank you for joining us, Beefy, and everyone else. It was really fun to talk about it. I will be doing the live show on Thursday evening. I forget when it starts. I think it's 7 p.m., but I could be wrong. It might be 8 p.m. or something weird. It should be fun. Hopefully, someone was pointing out in our Discord that like we never get very good reveals at LVO, which is crazy because it's the biggest AOS tournament in the world. But yeah, hopefully there's something cool. I'm just along for the ride, hopefully it's something good. And we'll see you guys later. We'll see you guys next week. Next week we are going to be talking about the Old World, I think, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Because it's coming out. Is it this weekend?
I don't remember.
I think it's like.
I think it is this weekend, actually. I think you're right.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about the Old World next week, and thanks to everyone for hanging out, and we'll see you guys next time with Wheel of Old World. No, sorry. Bye.